Welcome, Internet, to the extra large, super ridiculous summer game mess episode of the Play Some Video Games podcast. It's your boy, Dat Ninja Dev, joined as always by my main man, Donnie Eat the Hype Reese, Delvin Balls Mahoney Cox, and joining us, I would say from America's Hat, but he happens to be in America, Mr. Sean Capri.
Some might say inside America, Dev. I am inside. Coming to you live from inside America.
We've made a trade. I'd like to officially announce terms. We've traded one Courtney Lalonde for one Sean Capri.
It just keeps getting worse or better, really.
We just keep adding syllables every time.
Yep.
Courtney Lalonde.
Yes, Courtney Lalonde.
Yes. You've been traded.
Yep.
Don't
it's good to be here.
Just don't come back.
You know what? I was thinking about it earlier today. Like, do you guys remember? Maybe you never thought of it this way. You were asked to be on somebody else's podcast, and like you'd tell your mom, like you get really excited about it. You're like, I'm going to be on another podcast. I had that today. I was like, I'm going to be on. I got asked to be on. I got invited to be on another show. It's so cool. Thanks for having me.
Nice.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you. You're part of the team. You're one of us.
Make room.
Yeah. PSVG stepchild.
Yeah. Basically.
I mean, this show is late though. What the hell, you guys?
Blame Dev.
Trust me, I know.
It is late.
Look here. All right. I'm on the West Coast. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. All right.
That's true.
I got to work my 9 to 5, and after that, the show must go on. So
there's something.
Deal with it.
Move. That's what you can do.
There's no
get a better coach.
There's nowhere to go. I'm sorry. It's just,
I mean, you're everybody else is doing it.
If I'm going anywhere, I'm leaving the country, getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Go to Iceland.
Not a bad option.
Nonsense. Yeah. So since we've got a super ridiculously long show, everybody just tell me like one thing that you're playing that you're excited about, and then we're going to get into the plethora of news that we have to discuss. And of course, we start with our guest. Sean, is there anything that you're playing that you're super excited about?
Still Diablo. Nothing new. And I'm loving Diablo. You're getting ready to move on to something next soon, perhaps, but I don't know what that is. Maybe just something on a Steam sale of some sort. But I'm going to wrap up Diablo. I'm Act 3, level 46. So I've not been really focusing on the campaign, but I'm going to wrap it up. And who knows? Who knows what's after that, you guys? So that's nice. Pretty simple for me. I meant to play Switch on my way over, but I watched Spider-Man into the multiverse, into the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
No, the first one. I haven't seen the first one yet. I watched on the plane on the way over here, and I know I missed it. Look, it came out. I had 2 kids under 2 when that movie came out, so I was busy. I missed it. I'm all caught up, ready to see the next one. Pretty pumped.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Very nice. Very nice. I have some serious Diablo FOMO. I really want to play it, but it's just not in the cards right now. It's not in the cards.
Put it in the cards.
No.
Draw the card.
There's no funds for that right now. We are balling on a budget here. $70 for Diablo is not in the cards right now. So we're going to play what we have.
Man has been on like constant vacations for like the last month. He's went to like 2 Disney Worlds and
Which
shit. He always comes to the show and he's like, poor, pitiful, broke Dev. I can't afford anything.
This is why. All this vacation stuff, there are no funds for video games. Plain and simple.
You know what? While you're spending all that money, just sneak in an extra 70. Like, what's the difference? It's not going to make a difference.
It's
spend 10 grand to take your family to Disney. Like, just an extra $70. It's like a meal at Disney.
I don't want to talk about it.
You know, I'm making sense.
Pretty much.
Chalfie, get here on time.
And that's not how you spell my name, Chalfie. I've known you for like a decade, dude. Come on, man. Holy crap.
It's literally on the screen. It's on the screen.
You know, getting damn well, Chalfie don't read.
Who is Shaun?
Just so sad. So sad. Delvin, what the hell are you playing?
Playing these hoes, homie. Playing these hoes. Let's move on.
I should have known better. He's balls deep in these hoes, apparently.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Gentlemen, I sent our outlet for reviews this week. The first episode, you start talking about being balls deep in people. Jesus.
Goddamn right. Deep in America. I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to demand a trade out to carpool. I'm gonna just have to pull a LeBron. Y'all gotta get me to South Beach.
They gotta love us for who we are. And who we are, we ain't shit.
Yeah, they're gonna turn this on and be like, we cannot have our brand associated
Bring our
with these
mergers and
degenerates.
acquisitions lawyers getting down in here.
It is what it is. Downey, what are you excited about? What are you playing? What are you doing? What are you playing that you're really excited about right now?
I'm not excited about it, but I'm contractually obligated to talk about it. So I reached out to the makers of a Grey Hill Incident a year ago when I saw their trailer for their game.
I want to play that.
I love Signs, and I love M. Night Shyamalan, and I love everything horror, and I love Alien Abductions, and I want to play this game. It's amazing. And it's not. It's not very good, guys. It's pretty bad. And I wanted to love it. I really did. I wanted to find any reason I could to love it, and I just can't. It's just not very good. It's just poor. But if you're out there, maybe I can save you the $25. Visually, it looks good. The horror tension that you might expect it from the trailer is there at times. But it's just hidden in a aimless exploration adventure game. I mean, just completely aimless. The game drops you in this town, Grey Hill. That's why it's called the Grey Hill Incident. And it's got a great look. Like, it's got moonlit cornfields. Everything's dark and gray and green. You can't really see very far in front of you. And you have to figure it out, right? You've got to meet all these people and, get all these things to figure out a way to survive the night. And there's no map. There's no compass. There's no log really about what you're supposed to be doing. If you press the touch screen, or if you press start and you go to your pause screen, there is a little objective at the bottom of the screen. But the objectives are never very good. We're talking, the objectives are to find a cat, to collect 5 rolls of tinfoil. It's things like that. And the character dialogue might be the cringiest dialogue I have witnessed in a modern video game.
Eesh.
It's bad.
Worse than
bad.
What's the one we played last year that we hated?
Oh, the chant?
The chant, yeah.
Yeah, this is the chant is twice as good as this.
Wow.
Yeah. This has died, and I hate being so hard on it. I always think this, especially with indie devs. I'm sure they tried. But I mean, look, even in indie games, we've come so far from something like this. With dialogue, you'll have really long pauses between character exchanges, characters not looking at each other when they're talking. It just feels very aloof and disconnected from everything. There's one character that has they try to make him the government conspiracy person, and it comes off terribly bad. If Far Cry 5 made people angry, they should really stay away from this. And it's just not very good. Like I said, you just there's no direction. Everything is walled off by, I would call them invisible walls, but they're not. Everything's walled off by a 2-foot fence. There's 2-foot fence lines everywhere that you can't cross until you do the thing that magically opens a gate, and then you can cross into the next area. So you really just walk around. You just walk around and interact with things until you trigger the thing that triggers that gate to open, or that door to open, or whatever, that gets you to the next area to where you can do more of it. And then as you're meandering about, there are aliens that will spot you. And when they spot you, it does do this little prompt music that kind of like a jump scare. And that is actually kind of thrilling the first few times you see it. But after you see it 3 or 4 times, it kind of gets over it. And that's really, and then you're kind of done. The game's over. You're kind of over it at that point. It's very short. I beat it in 4 hours, but I have seen people on YouTube beat it in 90 minutes. So just to give you I think their videos were edited, but it is very short. If you told me you beat this game in an hour, I'd believe you if you knew what you were doing. I didn't, because I was playing it before, reviews and walkthroughs came out. I literally just walking around trying to figure it out. So I say all of that. I'm not even talking, there are bugs. I didn't even bring up the thing that bothered me the most, because I think it's just on PC, they don't support controller. So I had to remap everything using Steam to a controller to play, and I mostly got the job done, right? But they just don't support controller. They have a controller support, but it's not like full controller support. They don't support PlayStation or Xbox controllers out of the box.
The game doesn't seem like you need a controller. You're not doing anything.
You do shooting, and you have like a stick that you can use to like kind of whack the aliens away from you and
Shooting
stuff like that.
and a stick.
Yeah, you have a really slow like stamina bar. You can run for like maybe 4 seconds, and then it takes like a minute to recover. And you have a flashlight that you have to wind up every time you want to use it. You have to spam your button to make it go, and then it burns out. Yeah, it's not very good.
Is it based in Canada? Is that the deal? These are all Canadian tropes. We wind up our flashlights.
It's a shame because if you look at this game
with our sticks,
if you look at a trailer of this game, you'd swear it was amazing because like they nailed the look. The look looks.
I did watch the trailer.
Yeah, like
that's why I like that looked interesting.
If you think, and the premise is so good, right? The premise is we're gonna make an Outlast game where you survive an alien abduction. And we're going to make you walk through like creepy cornfields and barns and shit as you figure it out. Like that sounds great, right? It does. That sounds like can't miss. And they miss so hard. They went so far from can't miss. Is bad. Is not very good. So
damn.
I can't recommend it. I just can't. Like as somebody who would love everything, like if they told a halfway decent story, I look past the controls, right? I made do with it. There are a bunch of bugs too. Like people are having crash errors and things that were like, I'm not even beyond all of that. It's just not very good. Like that's the biggest problem is it's just not very good. So
basically save your money.
I would, unless you're like Signs is my favorite movie and I've never had a video game that let me do it. Then like, you know what? Fuck it. It's only $20. Knock your socks off. You won't be that hurt. Go give it a try, but I wouldn't. I just wouldn't.
Sound like you need to go low on that game price. Like,
and I feel bad.
Steam sale for $2.
I never like being hard on a game like ever. Period. To be honest with you, I don't like just giving like a scathing review
unless it's a Square Enix game.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's true. Because they deserve it. These 5 people didn't. They set out to make the best game they could. But yeah, it's not very good. Yeah. The other thing that I'm doing this week, gentlemen, is the Ally is here. It is here. I've been playing it.
Yes.
Around the clock, so I could come at least with some first impressions, and talk to you guys about it a little bit. Do you have any questions?
Is it perfect? Is it like perfect?
No.
Do you love it?
No, it's not perfect.
How does it compare to the Steam Deck?
How so?
In every way. Like if you had a choice now, having this in your hand and having a Steam Deck in your hand, which one would you rather have in your hand?
I want to know about form factor. Tell me about form factor comparison.
For me, absolutely, I would pick the Ally 10 out of 10 times. For the average consumer, aka you, keep your Steam Deck.
Gotcha.
Form factor, Sean, I like the Steam Deck. I feel like this is mostly the same. I have no problems with ergonomics. Sticks, button placement, feel the buttons, feel the D-pad, triggers, all good. I have no problem. It's lighter than you'd expect. It's way lighter than the Steam Deck. I think that helps. One thing that I didn't really hear a whole lot from the review cycle, everybody talked about how great it was at cooling and how much it exhausts like all this heat, and it's got revolutionary cooling and everything. It gets warm. I feel it in my hands when I'm playing. It might just be the games that I'm playing.
Steam Deck warm?
Hang on a second, Jack. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think so. Probably. Like it gets warm enough that I think my hands kind of like they begin to almost get clammy, like a slight clammy, like just a little, not a lot. It's not uncomfortable, but like it's warm. I feel it, especially if you're one of those people that wrap your hand fully around it, maybe rest your fingers on the back plate. It gets a little warm. Sorry, I'm pouring a drink.
He's on fire.
So yeah.
Well, let me ask the question.
Okay.
Let's get to the brass tacks. How did the games run on there? I know you were playing the Last of Us.
Fantastically. I'm playing The Last of Us. Happy anniversary, T. Lou. I'm playing The Last of Us at 720p on the Ally, which fully fits the frame at 60 frames a second for the most of the game. Here's the crazy thing. This screen is incredible. We've been talking about this. It's not something that I think reviewers covered a lot of. It has a 120 hertz panel, has VRR, right? So I'm playing Last of Us, and it's smooth as butter. Literally, I'm playing it, and I'm like, this is great. Like, I've played, how many times have I, this is the reason why I picked The Last of Us first. How many times have I played The Last of Us? Like, if there is a game that I could tell the difference in, like, that's the game for me. Like, I can feel it, and I'm like, this is great. I can play this entire game like this natively, and this is not a compromised version. At 720p, if anybody hasn't seen pictures of the device I've been sharing, the game looks great. The color and the sharpness of the panel, FSR, are doing a wonderful job. Makes it look awesome. It looks fine. I turned on the performance monitoring statistics. I wanted to watch the frame rate and watch my battery. I'm watching the frame rate and playing The Last of Us. Last of Us PC port is terrible. Even on really good PCs, frame rate's all over the place. And I'm seeing the dips in the counter. Like, I'm doing an action scene and I see it dip. It go from 65 to 50 and 60 to 45 and 60 to 42. And I'm like, man, this is all over the place. I should be feeling it. And I don't. That VRR is paying dividends. Like, this is the future of any sort of handheld market, I think, is got to have something like this because it makes a world of difference. We've talked about this on the show for a long time now. Dev and I both. We don't like playing games at 40 frames a second. It feels choppy. I'm not feeling it at all playing it like this. Like, I just don't feel it. If I turned the statistics off and played it, I would tell you it's not lock 60, but it's smooth experience that I don't mind playing. So I'm having a great time. And I will take that one step further, and I would tell you that I had the absolute best experience that I've ever had playing Xbox Cloud streaming last night and this morning. I played Gears of War 4 for an hour, and it felt like I was playing on my Xbox. And I played Doom Eternal this morning, and I could actually aim and everything via the cloud. The 120 hertz refresh, VRR, is a game changer for streaming. I've never, ever liked Xbox Cloud streaming. I've told everybody for years, I would never recommend anybody to play a game like that, a full game. In a pinch, you're on your phone, you gotta, like you got nothing else, sure. But are you going to sit down and enjoy a game like that? I wouldn't recommend it. The only thing that I've ever came close to saying that was GeForce Now. And the experience that I had last night and this morning playing Xbox Cloud on this handheld felt like I was playing GeForce Now. It was significantly better. It just was incredible. So I played in those games. I'm downloading some other games. Some of the not so great things, dude, this is a tinkerer man's console. Like, you have got to mess with some shit. It's a double-edged sword. I'm on both sides of the fence on this one. I am both impressed with how well they've made it to navigate like Windows with a controller, because they have so many shortcuts. And I should mention, this is really a touchscreen device. You're going to have to use as a touchscreen unless you're plugging in and docking it. Right. And even if you're not, like, on the go, there's just going to be times where it's just more convenient, easier to use your finger to access menus, to set options, to not in game, but navigating windows, like navigating around windows. But they've got all these shortcuts and these things that they've done to try and make it as easy as they can. And I appreciate that. I'm like, this is actually pretty good. But at the same time, I had to update this thing for like 3 hours. I had to update the BIOS. I had to bring down all the update and navigating Windows Updater and driver updaters and device manager and downloads and a browser.
That's PC. Just dock.
No, I know. I'm just bringing it up for people out there that may be playing a Switch or maybe playing a Steam Deck, and they're like, I want the more powerful thing. This isn't for you if you feel frustrated by doing those things. I can't get Rockstar's launcher to launch. It always freezes constantly. I have just found out, like, within the last 20 minutes, somebody in this Discord that I'm in for the Ally, they told me to launch like C++ redistributable, and maybe that'll get it going. So there is things like this that aren't just taken care of out of the box. There's a lot of kind of finding it yourself, like a PC. I mean, that's what we said. It's a laptop. You'd be running into the same things if you had any other PC that just had an APU on it, right? So yeah, like it's just that. There are things like that. And when you're doing those things, like I've come into a few weird things where, let's say I launched something and had to update a setting. So I click on an option and the Windows dialog pops up, but the Windows dialog pops up like in a place on the screen where I can't touch the option that I need to touch, right? And if you don't know how to like move, like a window without a mouse, if you don't know how to do that, like there are things like that. If you're not a PC laden person, it's going to be frustrating. So like, because of that, I have a hard time just saying like, oh yeah, everybody should get an Ally. Because I can imagine there's I've seen them. I've seen the people in the Reddit, and there are people out there that are just lost. They don't know how to make anything work. They don't know how to get anything to download. And I get it. I get it.
PC people. It's a PC.
Yeah, but I'm more fluent and happier to tinker around in Windows than I am in Linux. Like I know how to do registry keys, and I know how to do device man. Like I can fish on Windows. I don't have to relearn a whole new language and trust apps I've never heard of and stuff like that before. I know how to do stuff. So yeah, I finally got Epic working. Epic does it's slow for me, but Epic doesn't use the touch screen. Or I mean, the controller controls don't seem to navigate the Epic Game Store. You got to do everything via hand or a mouse. But all my other launchers work with the controller. This device does a really cool thing where it has an automatic switcher from like game controller mode to like desktop mode. So if you're looking at the desktop and you just start like wiggling around the stick will become the mouse, and the right trigger or the right bumper will become the left click, and the right trigger will become the right click. And it's very like easy to navigate Windows. Yeah. And like, yeah, I realized maybe 40 minutes in how quickly I took to it. I was like, oh, I don't need to plug in a laptop and a mouse. Like I got it. Like this is fine. And I haven't. I have actually yet to plug in. I bought a Bluetooth keyboard just to sync to it, and I haven't even used it. Because the keyboard prompts, there are macros. So like on the buttons on the back, if you hold these down, there are a bunch of macros that like have just become second nature to me. So if you hold down the macro and you hit A, you get a screenshot. If you hold down the macro and you press up on the D-pad, you bring up the keyboard. If you hold the macro and you press down on the D-pad, it brings up Task Manager, right? If you hold the macro and press left, it takes you back to the desktop, and you can switch between apps and stuff like that. So once I got a hold of those, I'm just sifting through like all of Windows. Those screenshots I've been sharing to Discord from in-game, I'm literally sharing them from the device, just opening up Edge and logging in the Discord and just sharing them. I'm doing all of that, with the controller.
Nice.
So yeah, I've run into a couple games that I don't think are not compatible, but are having controller issue. They don't see everything. I don't think the Armory crate is like that sophisticated that it's got everything across the board.
Trash.
So I'm going to have to I had to remap a few games. But yeah, everything else I'm really enjoying. The performance is off the charts. I played PGA 2K. Remember I told you guys on Steam Deck, when I got it on Steam Deck, it ran like trash. It ran terribly. And on Switch is not very good. I played the thing at 85 frames a second today on my lunch break. Just playing golf, Chinese restaurant, just sitting there. I played The Last of Us in my car this morning, just waiting for a meeting. I did play The Last of Us yesterday, and I created a stopwatch. I played 81 minutes from full charge to where I hit their "you need to plug in" prompt, which I think pops at like 15% battery. So I probably had another 10 minutes in there probably. But 80 minutes is like, I'm really happy with that. I know a lot has been said over its battery life. It is not very good. It's not Switch good. It's not Steam Deck good. A lot of people with Switches that don't like that there are competitors out there laugh at the battery life. Whereas I would say
it's a portable PC.
I would say this thing laughs at the Switch's performance.
Right.
Like you can't run The Last of Us at 60 frames a second. I really think that's a crazy benchmark to just relay to everybody. There are full-blown PCs that can't play, like good PCs, graphics card towers that can't play The Last of Us that well. And this does a really good job. So yeah, I'm digging it. Trying to think if there's anything else off the top. I didn't write any notes down. Oh, there were some reports early on of dead zone issues on the trigger. I mean, on the sticks. I haven't noticed it on the sticks at all. I played Doom. I played Gears. I'm good. Like, I'm totally fine. But I actually did notice on the triggers. The triggers seem to have a lot of play. Like, I was playing Forza and I realized, like, I got to hold this whole thing down before this thing gets going. But in Army Crate, you can tone down the sensitivity and the pool. So I went in there and I shortened the pool and all the triggers, just to make it not feel so long. But outside of it, just my biggest complaint literally is that it gets a little warm. And I feel like that's a little ticky-tacky because it's not like it's hot. It just gets a little warm. But I will say the way that I hold it is like this. And if you notice my left index finger when I wrap it around the bumper, notice it's right there next to the vent. And that vent is angled right at my finger. I feel the air, the exhaust on that. So I've had to kind of readjust to getting my finger further down on the bumper and not how I normally hold it. So it's like little ticky-tack things like that. But outside of that, guys, I kind of dig it, man. The screen's worth it alone. I would make the argument if you're into cloud gaming. I know it's expensive, and I know people aren't buying this to game on the cloud, and I realize that's why nobody in the reviewers are covering it. But I feel like they're really missing a prime showcase for this thing. I haven't got a chance to do GeForce Now. I did download it today. I imagine GeForce Now sings on this bad boy. Like, if I thought it was good on Cloud Deck, it's going to be 10 times better with this. So,
as long as you got that good internet.
Which I do. I'm lucky in that way. And if Xbox is going to make, as the rumor suggests, your entire library at some point streamable, it'd be so much more convenient than having to manage downloads and use, precious storage and things like that to just stream your game if you can, especially if I'm in the house and I just want to take my game with me on the couch or something. I can save battery life and just stream it and then only really use my storage for the games that I really want to take with me.
How much how much storage do you have, Donnie?
I have a terabyte external SD card.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you were talking about all that external stuff. I was with you, Dev. All these externals attached to the PC. Yeah, no, weird.
Well, I have a micro SD card. It's a terabyte. I forget what it comes with. I think it comes with 500 gigs, but I honestly I don't remember.
And it's not a USB drive. It's just like a little SD card.
Yeah, just like the Switch, little SD card on top.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll tell you the plastics.
Acceptable.
The plastics are very nice.
I wouldn't have called that external.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Expandable.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. That's I'm just
the 1 terabyte SD card that I threw in
drive attached to it, right?
Mm-hmm. These little passport drives and whatever.
I do have in my dock. I have an M2 drive in my dock that for expandable. So if I want to dock it to the TV, I can download my entire library over there. I haven't even used the dock yet. I don't think I'll use it a whole lot. Like, I just wanted it just in case I wanted to throw it on the TV. But I've honestly I've enjoyed sitting in the chair, sitting on the couch, playing games, and I'm just kind of in awe that I can play something like The Last of Us the way that I'm playing it. And I don't mean to start console wars because I hate that we make everything console wars, and it's definitely been the case with this device. This device, ever since it come out, Steam Deck folks been big mad, man, and it's turned into a huge which is ridiculous because it's all PC. There's no warring; it's all PC. You don't argue over laptop and your laptop versus my laptop.
The case, we should be having PC wars. Like, mine is better than yours.
When you watch people play Last of Us on the Steam Deck, it's a compromised experience. You can do it, but it's a compromised experience, and I felt a lot of that way.
The Last of Us on PC is a compromised experience.
That's true. I've been playing. Well, they did release a new update this week, and to be honest with you, I've played through the first 2 chapters, Dev, and I haven't noticed a whole lot of difference from how I played it on PS5. I haven't run into any glitches or anything. Like, it's just playing fine, and I had glitches on PS5.
I remember. If there are glitches, you will find them.
Especially in The Last of Us. If there's a game that I'll find them, I'd find them in that. And so far, I've had not a one problem at all, actually. So yeah, I'm digging it.
Nice.
I'm digging it.
I'll get my hands on one on Friday. One of my coworkers bought one. He knows that I love games and tech, so he's going to bring it in. I'm take it for a little test drive, but I really don't care about this device that much. I am not a handheld gamer in any way, shape, or form.
I'm gonna crack into some emulation maybe this weekend. I just wanted to give a little bit, and I was thinking about waiting even longer. Like I really want to put a couple emulators on it, but I may not go hard because EmuDeck is working on supporting this device, and I kind of want to wait for that. Right now it's in beta, and you have to like be a patron, a member of theirs to get it, and I kind of just want to wait for it to go free. I really like what they've done with the Steam Deck stuff, and I'd like to just use that. Are you guys familiar with EmuDeck?
Absolutely not.
Okay, EmuDeck is like an emulator front end, and you install it, and it loads all of your emulators for you, and it sets up all of the directories for you. All you have to do is put the ROMs in the right folder. And it's got the artwork, and it's got like an OS, and it's just a really nice, clean way of doing it all at once. So I kind of don't want to throw a bunch of stuff on it and get a bunch of stuff everywhere. I kind of want to wait for that and just put it all into one thing. It'll also import all of your games from EmuDeck into Steam, and you just launch them from Steam if you want.
That's cool.
And Delvin, since you have a Steam Deck, you know that the Steam Deck OS has been modified to just be big picture mode on Steam now, just in general.
Yeah, I saw that.
So when I load Steam, it's just like a Steam Deck. Like I have the same menus, I navigate and everything the same way you do. I loaded up. I formatted my SD card the same way you would. Sean, you good there? I do. Yeah. So Steam in that regard works really well. Ubisoft works really well. GOG works really well. I didn't talk about Armory Crate at all. I guess I should. I should, because it's really it's pretty cool what they're doing. So there's an Armory Crate button.
We've got a lot to get through.
I know. There's an Armory Crate button on this device, and every time you install a game, like Armory Crate remembers the drive that you're installing them to in the launchers, and every time you run one, it pulls it into Armory Crate. So when I click this button, I basically just get a menu of every game and launcher that's on the system that I can quickly press from the controller. I don't have to navigate Windows or the desktop or anything like that. So it is, in that regard, it's a console-like experience that I think some people would like. But the reason that I hesitate to call it that is you still have to do all the setup and stuff on the front end before that really gets going. You know, like it doesn't just work out of the box like that. So, you know, I don't think this is for everybody. That would be that'd be my thing. I don't think this is. I'll go a step further. I don't think this is for most people. I think most people would find this to be
people who like to tinker.
Yeah, like if you
based off what the chat said, it's not for a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't think this is for most people. No, this is for like IT people. Mm-hmm. If you're an IT person, you're gonna love this damn thing.
If you're somebody who likes to build PCs, tinker, and then have a portable device, this is the good stuff.
If you're not scared of having to like wipe something and start over, yeah. If you want any sort of like console-like experience, I'd probably stay away. This is what Armory Crate looks like. So this is all my launchers and all my games everywhere from every launcher. They're all just pulled into here. So I can just navigate with my stick and just start it, and it'll just boot everything up for me. So it's like a shortcut. It's like a little shortcut menu.
Yeah, I think you kind of gave a good representation of why people like the Steam Deck so much. Steam Deck, you just kind of plug and play, and this is maybe a little bit more complex than that.
It is.
Whereas you can just
Steam Deck is meant to emulate a console experience. This is not that.
And you really appreciate how much work they put into it to try and make that happen. And they did a good job. They pulled it off. It's just it only starts falling apart if you want to do anything that the Steam Deck doesn't. That's when it starts to get really, out there.
I mean, this is basically their second crack at it because they had the Steam boxes that kind of had a lot of the same problems that the Steam Deck does. It's just Steam running on Linux. It is what it is.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying your little ROG Ally. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about it as the time goes on. This will be the device that I think Donnie keeps for longer than 3 months.
Probably.
I think so too. I think I'm already finding help from the community, so I think there will be a community around supporting this thing. But I also think Asus is going to support it. And I think people laugh at that, but the way that they are talking about it and the companies that they've got behind it, I think they're going to have some support. I think they want to try and make this a product line and not a venture.
Yeah. See, that's the difference when you get a hardware manufacturer versus a software manufacturer making a device. Like Asus specializes in making gaming hardware. Like that's what they do. And Windows is running it versus, having to run Steam OS or Linux on something. So that's the difference you're going to get with the Ally versus the Steam Deck, where Steam is really about their front end experience. They run Steam OS and everything through Steam. So I think you'll see really, really good support from Asus because they're already doing this type of stuff.
Yeah. They were dragged through the mud recently for overvolting some of their cards. So right now, like the word around the internet, I mean, people are mad about that. But they've already released 3 or 4 like firmware patches for Armory Crate. It's gotten much better since like Linus went hands on with this thing 2 months ago, and they've already released 2 full BIOS patches. I had to run updates and update. I think that's really causing a lot of people frustrations. Like they got in it and they're like, my controller's not working. These things aren't working. I can't download. They're like, I hate this device. I'm returning it. And those of us that are using it were like, did you run the updates? And they're like, what updates? I'm like, yeah, we're just return it.
Oh, God.
Just return it.
Go
Like,
away.
take
It's
it
not
back.
for you.
It's not for
I
you.
was shocked that I could walk into Best Buy right now and just buy one.
Yeah.
They're like in the stores. I was very surprised. I was like, oh,
I don't think I've talked about
much
this
they
on the
running for?
podcast. I'm really happy.
$6.99.
It's $6.99. I really lucked out for this. My Honey coupon got me a coupon almost $90 off when I pre-ordered. And you guys remember this. I did a survey for Reddit the week the pre-orders went live where I got $100 gift card from Reddit. So I checked out of this thing with Best Buy rewards and everything right at like $502. I just feel like I think that makes me just a little happier to put in the effort and get everything running on it. I'm not nearly as frustrated because I'm like, man, I got this thing on a steal. Like, what a sweet deal.
I can't wait till you get the eGPU and we get to go down that route and see what that's like.
That's definitely going to happen. Once I pick one up used, or if maybe they have a sale, like I want one. I do want one.
Yeah.
And the AMD one punches above the 3080.
Yeah, because it's
And
got
the
more,
AMD is like
got more VRAM.
third the price. So
Yeah.
I
mean,
think that'd be the one I go with.
people really don't give AMD their credit because it doesn't have the NVIDIA name, but they always have put more VRAM on their cards. Their cards have always been good. The biggest issue with them has always been drivers, but the cards have always been good. So,
But yeah, I had to update and update and update and update. And I just kept restarting and rebooting the controller or rebooting the system, finding more updates. And I think on the 4th round of updates, that's when I pulled down the BIOS update. And then all of a sudden my controller started, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like, here's the system. Because when I first pulled it out of
updates, were you running Armory Crate to pull hardware updates, or were you
Armory
running
Crate
Windows update?
has an update button that will pull down firmware and stuff for Armory
Yes.
Crate. And then I'm also running Windows updates.
Yeah.
And the Windows update is what pulled down the BIOS update.
That's a surprise. Typically, the manufacturer's software is what's going to pull the BIOS.
I
updates
think
and
what it
firmware.
was is I think there was a prerequisite. I think there was a prerequisite Windows update that once I got that installed, then the BIOS update came down.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest launch day frustration that people are trying to come to grips with, is they didn't realize that there was going to be so much effort. Oh, and I mean, it also came loaded like a PC. I had to uninstall 365 and
bloatware.
Word, and like,
Oh.
yeah, it comes. It literally
It comes
is a
with
PC.
Windows 11,
It's a
so
Windows image. It's like a
you're gonna get
standard
all of that
stock
stuff, yeah.
laptop image that they throw on this thing and put them in the box.
So I was gonna jokingly ask, how does Excel run on this thing that's like preloaded?
Yeah, it's pretty
probably would
awesome.
run
actually.
pretty well, actually. Yeah. Well, there's been your episode of Game Tech for the month.
I was gonna
before
say,
we lose
that was even nerdy for a goddamn video game podcast.
You're not losing.
Was
You're
it?
not losing me. Like, I'm sitting here, and people are wondering what I'm munching on over here. I got my mic on mute. I'm here
No,
eating
no.
popcorn.
Y'all
I'm just
didn't
like,
see
this is
what I started-
awesome.
Did I
laughing
talk too
Was
long?
Sean acting like a
Jeez.
No, you're good. Y'all
No,
didn't see
not
when I
to
started laughing when Sean put the whole bag of chips to his face.
I saw that.
Like a 12-year-old. Like, it's delightful.
It was just tricks. I actually didn't get any. No, man. I'm
like Delvin.
very interested.
Yes, pretty much.
Didn't get it. I wanted to hear about it. This trip that I'm on right now is the first time that I've traveled and wished that I had a PC with me. I want to play Diablo right now, and the fact that I don't have this, like that would be great. That would be perfect.
Diablo sings on this bad boy. I've been watching people play Diablo on this device for a week and a half. It's running like 90 frames a second. Like it's crushing Diablo.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing, man. I'm jealous, and you always get such a good deal on these things. You know, like coupons just like falling out of your back pocket, and
It's
just
Honey.
Deals
That
with
Honey
Donnie.
browser extension came
unbelievable.
through.
Deals with Donnie, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's what he does best. Swear to God.
Delvin buys it, it costs him 3 times as much somehow.
I only admit that,
That is accurate.
because there are people out there that paid $6.99 plus tax and everything for it, and you know I know it's not a whole lot more, but like it's a more significant pill to swallow
Yeah,
than when I
Yeah.
paid for it.
It is.
You know? So if I paid,
Yep.
you know, I don't think it would have changed my opinion, but I bring that up because there might be somebody out there that bought this thing for nearly $800 and they're like, I gotta install driver updates. What is this piece of shit? You know. But I feel like I am in that, like I went into this knowing exactly what it was going to be like, and that's why I'm not upset or frustrated or anything with it. And I think that might be what I'm seeing, because we had a flood of people come in the Discord just asking like self-help.
Mhm.
Like they just need help. They're like, how do I get this game running? I can't do this. I can't do that. and I'm realizing, like, I think what it is I think there's been a world of Switch owners for the last half decade, and they saw a better, shinier Switch and they went and bought one. I think that might be the biggest challenge
Yeah.
that Asus has to tackle.
What's the Armory thing? What was
Armory
it called?
Crate.
Armory
Is that
Crate.
Armory
is that
Crate.
something specific to this? Like, would you
It's
have that on?
specific to Asus. So
Is it?
anytime you have
Okay.
an Asus motherboard or you have an Asus graphics card,
Oh, okay.
Armory Crate is what's going to get you your updates for your firmware. It can also control your RGB and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's their software. So like Asus has Armory Crate, Corsair has IQ,
Yeah.
MSI.
Does it have RGB
I forgot what they're
sticks?
called.
I turned them off. I messed with them for about 50 minutes. Like, that's cool. And then I just turned them off.
That's going to kill your battery life. Turn that shit
Right.
off.
Yeah. And I was like,
Get
nah,
that
I'm not going to do that.
RGB
I'll
outta
turn that
here.
off, man.
Yeah. So good times. Well, we'll be
Can I-
hearing
can I
much
say something real
more
quick?
about that. Yeah.
Before we move on, y'all didn't stop talking about bringing back Game Tech. When Game Tech was here, y'all didn't appreciate it. It's gone. It's dead. Move on.
I appreciate
That's
it.
y'all
So
fault.
you say that,
Blame
but Devin
yourself.
and I know that Game Tech shot up the rankings and was
Yeah.
like right behind Shaq in like 3 weeks. Like it
Yeah,
was
Game
right
Tech,
there.
Game Tech did numbers. It was
Game
not-
Tech was coming.
it
Game
supposed
Tech
to
was
do.
coming for the
And-
crown.
and now it's dead.
That's true though.
Stadia killed it. Stadia killed it.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So. Well,
Nah,
Donnie.
it's gonna be Portable Pros with me and Garrett.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that shit. No.
Damn, I just get kicked out of Portable Pros. Damn, that's
It's called
fucked up.
Portable Pros. Pros.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to
You have
know
to
what
have
you're
me.
doing.
I know what I'm doing. I have the Switch. I have the Steam Deck. That's all I need.
Yeah. You can't even use your Steam Deck right. So
Yes, I can.
Remember when he
Yeah.
plugged it into his 4K TV?
yeah. That was
I loved
genius.
It's like, why is it 6
I do it.
FPS?
When you can actually
I-
capture some game footage for a review using OBS, then we can talk. Until then,
I'm not doing
you're
it.
not.
I could
This-
do that
this
right
one-
on this bad boy, like right on the
Sure
same.
can.
No.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I say, hey, Sean,
It's all in one,
How
man.
you do this? That's all.
That's
have
why we
good
have
friends.
power. That's why we have Portable Pros. See, we're doing the show.
Pros.
You're asking the questions.
Yeah. See, you can be a
See,
listener.
see,
You clearly
You be a
need
standard
it.
No,
segment, a
no,
Delvin
no,
question
no,
of the
no.
week.
No. I am a pro star.
Okay.
Rejected.
And moving on, Johnny. Let's get into all the news.
Okay, Google, make Donnie read me the news. You ever wonder where these things end up? Who's watching?
Shout out to Jeff Grubb, who crushed it. I mean, there's nothing else to say. He had a great week interviewing Phil on the couch, had like the entire industry coming by and hanging out with Giant Bomb. Him and Mike both did a great job. As we turn into probably the biggest news docket I've ever put together for a podcast in all my years. Just so much has come out since last time we podcasted. And we're going to try our best to get through it efficiently, but also make sure we cover everything. So as I typically do, I'm going to talk about these showcases. I'm going to read off a few highlights, and then we can talk about those and or any other game that you may see on the notes, but we are not going to sit here and read every single game that was announced or shown during every showcase, because I think there's like 500 games on my list. There's so many games. So I want to start before I even go into it, and I just want to ask generally, what did you guys think of the week? Because I had a very enjoyable week watching people announce video games.
It was a fun week. I think it was what people wanted. People been kind of wanting that E3 vibe, and while I don't think that this is the same thing, it was good enough. You know.
I mean, I felt like this was
It's pretty close.
I felt like this is
That's close.
a good replacement or semblance or a transition. Like whatever E3 was going to be in 2023, I think this is probably pretty close to what that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had
pretty
everything
much.
just kind of lined up versus everywhere.
Yeah,
So
it's
it was
way
nice.
better than what we've been
And
through the
then
last
you
couple.
knew when things were happening. It wasn't like this is over here on this day, and then next week we've got this, and over. It was just here we go, 4 days, all the stuff.
I think the quality was really nice. I think all the delays and COVID and everything, I think we've caught up to it, and we see that in the games that were announced and the games that are showing. The quality of the games, it was just very exciting. I think every show that I watched was enjoyable. Sans the Capcom show, like that one, I was definitely like, guys, this
was not
bad.
good.
It
That
was
was
bad.
not good.
But outside of
there's
that,
always at least one.
outside of that, I really enjoyed my time watching almost everything. Good or bad moment, I thought everything was entertaining. I thought it was brisk. I thought everything had a good pace. I was here for it.
Yeah. I'm still catching up. There's a lot of stuff I still have not had time to watch. I've just been incredibly busy with work and home, so I just haven't caught up completely. But what I have seen outside of that Capcom thing was all pretty good.
Mega Man's whatever offline for your mobile phone with this service. What are they doing now? Save that for the Apple Arcade show. Come on, man.
Nathan's in the chat and said this felt the most like E3 since 2018, and I agree. And there was no Nintendo and not really PlayStation as PlayStation shows up.
I was gonna
Like
say
I
that.
feel like
Yeah.
that's something. There's something to that because Donnie, like, I think you and I are similar on this.
No
I went
EA
into
either.
June. What?
No EA
No EA.
either.
No, yeah, like it wasn't really E3, but it's like feels really good. And my hype levels were unreasonably high. I'm going like, Santa's coming and it's video game Christmas and it's back, and it delivered for me. How many are there legitimately 500 games?
No.
No,
There's
but it's-
definitely
Because I would
there's-
believe it.
There's 200 on this.
I would well, there you go. Like
There's 200 on my
once you pass
notes.
50, it's like
long.
yeah, that's
they're long.
ridiculous. Yeah.
So let's start with Summer Games Fest, the show itself with the man, Jeff Keighley. We saw a lot of games get announced during this showcase. We saw the very first Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown trailer. Sonic has a new game coming. Sonic Superstars is coming out this fall. It has co-op. Akira Toriyama is doing a brand new animation in a game called Sandland, famous maker from Dragon Ball Z. Annapurna showcase is coming June 23rd. We saw some incredible gameplay for Alan Wake. That looked really good. Space Marine 2 was dated, coming this winter. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando was unveiled, and I lost my mind. I can't
Dude, okay.
wait.
Okay, can I jump in on this one? Because
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're excited about this. We were running through that on Carpool, and we're looking around. Everybody's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I didn't catch it. I kind of saw it."
That was
in
pretty
two
much
chunks.
the feeling around PSV. Everybody was like, "This is stupid," and I'm over here like, "I can't wait."
Yeah.
Well, we were
Johnny,
doing the
I'm
wrap up,
sitting
and I was watching it
watching it.
live, and it's this is amazing. Like,
Yeah, it's amazing.
it's like
I
there's
was like,
Exactly.
Johnny's gonna lose his shit on this, and this looks basic as fuck to everyone else.
So awesome. Can't wait. We saw more Lord of the Rings Moria, Dontnod's Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. They say it's still coming this year. No doubt. We'll see. Under the Waves, the Yakuza Like a Dragon Gaiden game is coming. It has since been revealed that it's digital only. at least in the States.
Good.
So it's another game going digital only. It's kind of
Good.
becoming a little trend here. And the show closed on Final Fantasy 7 something or another,
Fuck
right?
you. Final
Damn.
Fantasy VII Rebirth. All right. You
I
put some
legit
goddamn
tuned out.
respect
I
on its
started
name,
doing
all right?
notes
you
like live
didn't.
on stream. I did.
You
put
did
some
not.
Go watch
motherfucking
the show.
respect
I was like,
on
all
it.
right, guys, I'm gonna
Why?
do because I don't. Yeah, I got nothing for it. So I was
He
like,
hates
let them
Final
watch it.
Fantasy.
It
He
looked
just-
good.
Did
He
it? I
wants
wouldn't
to
know.
hate
He hates
everything
Final
Final Fantasy. Like this is the hill he's dying on. That Final Fantasy is trash.
You
He
guys
will
do it to
never
each other.
respect
You
Mhm.
that you guys all deserve each other.
They made
okay?
this
Like-
monster.
I had nothing to do with the Final Fantasy hit. I don't know where it came from. or
It's all
why.
you're hating on everything else that I like. That's what happened. You
Yep.
did this.
I did
Right?
not do this.
There's
You
no
hated Final
Joker
Fantasy
without
before
Batman.
me,
There's
okay?
no Joker. Yeah, but the hate's more now.
Yeah, it's
Like,
obvious.
now the hate's more.
And I only like one Final Fantasy. I only like 7. The rest of them,
Yep,
I'm
and that's
with you.
why
They all
it's,
suck.
that's why it's 7. I might play 16, but never 7.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Other games that were shown: Remnant 2, Mortal Kombat. Nick Cage came out and talked. Lies of P. He's coming to Dead by Daylight. Party Animals, Crash Team Rumble, more Mobile Snap. Twisted Metal got a promo.
Bull.
Okay, the Twisted Metal looks terrible. I told you guys this
It does.
before.
It
I'm going
looks
to tell you
bad.
again,
I'm
man.
glad.
It looks
It
so
should.
bad. It looks
It's like
so
it's
bad.
like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It's
Oh,
going
it's
to
real
be
bad.
so bad. It's going to be enjoyable because it's
Xbox is
absolute
making
nonsense.
systems that look like Porsches, and I'm
That was
down.
bad.
I
That
put in
was
for it.
ugly.
It's awesome.
That thing was so ugly.
I want one.
Of course you.
So there are a lot of games. Anybody want to talk about any of them?
Look,
No.
man, Prince of Persia.
Let's end the show now.
Prince
This-
Dude,
Prince of Persia: The
Prince
Lost
of
Crown
Persia looks incredible.
lives
That looks great.
so that other shit that they were trying to remake can die.
They're still doing that.
Let's no, just kill it off.
They need to
We
stop
don't
doing it.
need it. Just don't
Stop
even bother.
doing it.
Don't even bother. Take those
Just-
people and just put them on Prince of Persia so we can get one of those things where it's like, oh, and it's coming out a week early instead of the delays. Like, let's just
Yeah.
stop with the same.
I'm so happy that Ubisoft Originals is back. I'm not somebody that's played Prince of Persia my entire life or back on the PC in 1993. So I think this is a perfect
I
way
did.
of. I think this is a perfect way of kind of reintroducing the brand to new players, and I can't wait to play it. It's going to look great on the Ally. It's going to be
Love
absolutely
me
amazing.
a Metroidvania, and this thing looks fan-fucking-tastic.
Mhm.
It does.
I'm so
does.
excited.
Yeah, it does.
Platforming
So
looks
excited.
great. Combat looks great. I was digging it.
Ja-
Yeah.
January is a great time frame for it too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Très magnifique.
Shadow Drop would have been nice. I could have played that today.
That would have been.
I
killer.
could have played that today for
Yeah, that'd
sure.
have been great.
I would love for them, and not just them, for everybody to get back to doing some of this. Not everything has to be, a 5 to 7 dev year cycle, like, forever giant game. Like, get back to making some smaller
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
They
I've
used to
been
do
saying that
that,
for a while.
and I don't know why. I mean, I think their answer to me would be it's not as profitable, right? It's not
Yeah,
worth our time.
It's the
But it is worth your
microtransactions,
time,
it's chasing
because-
the trends.
But it highlights your brand. It generates excitement. You have to think people excited about this Prince of Persia game will bleed over into other games, right? Like, it gives them something else to showcase, something else to announce.
I think
I
it
felt
is
a lot of
kinda like how-
enthusiasm for Ubisoft this year that I hadn't felt in a long time.
Big time.
That's
true.
Really?
I think this is a
feel
big
like
part of
Ubisoft
it.
Ubisoft
yeah.
always has enthusiasm.
No,
they
they-
always have
Dude,
something
Ubisoft's
coming
being
that people are
drugged
excited
through the
about.
mud the past 4
Mhm.
years.
That's
Yeah.
because they just keep making too many Assassin's Creed games, but I feel like everything else people are excited about.
To my
Like-
point, get back to making some of these things every more. Like, I think the point I'm trying to make is I think it serves a purpose beyond just pure profitability. It's good
Mhm.
for the
Yeah, it does.
portfolio to offer
these
a
investors
variety,
don't give
and
a
a
shit
wide
about your
range of
portfolio. They
selection.
just- Video games are now all about the money. Nobody cares about the portfolio. They just want to say, what are we getting? What is our return? What's our return on this? That's all they care about now. That's the
The bigger the
problem.
budget, the bigger the investment, the more you can make out of it. I think that's kind of the problem. Same problem Hollywood's having right now. They
Mhm.
go for the big blockbusters instead of making the smaller games that's going to make a good amount of money, but not enough to be like, all right, this is a smash hit.
Yeah.
You know, we need more of these type of
Hopefully
smaller
this
games
does
that can
well.
generate dollars.
I hope,
We
yeah,
can have
hopefully
a
it does
return
as
to
well.
form versus
Exactly.
everybody chasing the trends of trying to create the next Fortnite or whatnot. Like,
We had a
let's
lot
stop
of this-
chasing those trends and let's go back to making good video games, right, Sean?
We had a lot of this, like,
make good
360.
games.
Just make some good video games.
Make
So,
good
Yeah.
video games.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for Witchfire. I thought
You're the
Sonic
only one.
Superstars looks good. I legit thought it was a mobile game live, like on stream. It appears to have like kind of like a soft appearance to me. But everybody that played it loved it. So I'm excited
it's
to
like
see
more
it.
Sonic to me. I don't
It's
know.
just Sonic. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah,
same.
It's like more Sonic.
I almost get tricked by it because it does look great, but it's still Sonic, and I
$70.
My
Does anybody
son
else feel
plays
that?
So much Sonic.
Does anybody else feel that, or is it just me?
$70 for Sonic
This is
compared
why I
to
don't have
Sonic
the
Assassin's
Superstars.
others.
Creed Mirage,
Right.
which is 50.
Right. Like I felt that when they said that, when I saw the pre-order live go up, and I mean, I was just like, oof, that's a lot.
I didn't
Guys.
feel it because I was never going to
I gotta
pre-order.
say-
the
Yeah, I
bag,
didn't even
so.
see it. Same.
Sonic is hot as he ever been. So
That's true.
get the money while you can. So
Yep.
you can charge $70 to pay for it. Go for it.
Perfect Black Friday thing. I'll wait. Right. I'll wait for a discount. And then I thought Alan Wake looked great, and I'm
It
here
does.
for
It's
Moria
fantastic.
and Toxic Commando, and that's
Space
that's all.
Marine
Okay, so-
too. Space Marine, Donnie. Space
Oh,
Marine
yeah.
2. Holy
I
cow.
still gotta beat
Moria
the first one.
looked like a
Gotta beat the
mobile
first
game.
one.
Yeah, Moria
It
would look
Looked like a
terrible.
mobile game. That looked like
What?
A mobile game. Yes,
Yeah.
It's just a tree puncher. You guys don't get it. It's like Valheim. They don't look like the game you're thinking of. It's not going to look like a game like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a game that anybody should play.
Yeah, that was
Says
my
the
one.
millions of Valheim players.
I'm not
Maybe.
talking about Valheim. This is ruining the brand of Lord
I
of the
agree.
Rings. We have to do better.
Well,
wanna
Embracer
explore
did
Lord of the Rings?
Embracer
This
did
is not
say
how
they've
you
got
do
to
it.
do more with the brand. They were like,
They
we
gotta
got to
exploit
I've been
it.
saying,
Yeah.
Because this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah.
but this might
I've
be
been
it though.
saying,
It's not.
No, it might
you
not.
know
It's not
I've
it
been
for
saying, why they keep giving me
you.
characters I
It's
don't
not
wanna
going to
play
be it for anybody.
No, I disagree with you there. I think you're woefully underselling how many people are excited for this game.
Normally, I would say Dev is just being a hater, but I think he's right on this one.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
I think
we'll
this
see.
game is a big pile of poop.
Yeah.
I've been saying, why they keep giving me characters from Lord of the Rings I don't want to play with. I don't want to play with these people. I don't want to play with the fucking golem and the gnome, the Keebler elves and shit. Get
The
the, fuck out
gnome?
of here.
The
The
gnome.
Keebler elves and all these shit.
If you're gonna hate on him, at
Gnome
least
the
you
fuck
at
out
least
of
have his
here.
name. At least
I
have
don't
his
give a fuck.
race.
No,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
please give us some other stuff to play.
Gnomes.
You guys might be right. I don't know if it's gonna be gangbusters, but I want to play more. Yeah.
Just give us another Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor.
See, but that's
Those
Yes.
ones.
I'm for that, but I want more than that. I don't
Sure,
want
that's okay
just
to want more
Shadow
than
of
that.
War. I don't
That's
want
fair.
Lord of the
I
Rings
would
to
even
be just that game. It has
I
so
would
much
even accept
more
Lord of the
reach
Rings
than that.
tactics.
Tactics.
Yeah, the tactics games that'd be cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Mhm.
play it, but that'd be cool. Be
I mean, I
better
want
than whatever
battle.
this
I want
Moria
Battle of
thing
Middle
is.
Earth to come back.
That would be great. That would be
That's
a
a
great
game
game.
that I want to
Real
come
time
back.
strategy. Oh my gosh. Yes.
That's a game that I want. But in the meantime, I'm happy to play Moria.
Let's play this.
I'm happy to do a
mobile
tree
game.
puncher, fight off waves, build stuff.
I think I'm the only one hyped for Under the Waves. I think I'm the only one
Yeah.
who liked
What
I'm
that.
that
interested.
is.
I'm not like hype, but
Oh,
I'm interested. I thought it was cool.
I thought it
yeah,
looked
it was a
cool.
good trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, Toxic Commando. I'm right there with you, Donnie. Looks
I'm all
so
in.
good.
Oh,
So
they did. Yeah,
I
they
like John
dated
Carpenter.
Spider-Man. I forgot to mention that. They dated Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
October.
Yeah, that was so weird to have that dated there versus just at the PlayStation Showcase, which is another reason why that show sucked. At least we have a date.
They probably got money for it though.
Yeah, they got paid.
Yeah,
They
they
got
were
that
like, "Hey,
cheese.
well, we'll take your check."
I don't
You
give a
can
fuck
release
about
the
your
date.
pay.
Yeah.
Put that shit with PlayStation where it belongs. Pissing off.
I'm
all the
trying. I
PlayStation
don't
fans.
want to argue over like semantics anymore. I don't know why. I'm just tired. Like I saw people saying that. Every podcast like, why do they do this instead of the play? I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
The PlayStation fans care.
Does
You
it
don't
matter?
Because you don't like PlayStation.
Well, now
Does
it's
it
out
really
twice,
matter?
though.
You know what's coming out this fall anyway. But what? It doesn't change anything. It doesn't
hey,
change that. It doesn't
people-
change that showcase.
People love dates and they want them where they want them.
I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Mortal Kombat 1 looked cool.
It did look
It
good.
does.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
It's great.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, it looked sweet.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next showcase was the Day of the Devs. And we got the Chicory devs are making a turn-based volleyball game called Beastie Ball. We saw Hyper Light Breaker. We saw Hellskate, which is a new Demon arcade skating game. Do you guys see Hellskate?
No.
Not to be confused with Skate Story, which is also another Skate Out of Hell game. Seems a recurring trend in the skating games genre at the moment. Cocoon was shown again. The game still looks great.
No date.
I'm sorry.
No date for Cocoon. Still,
I don't. If they did, I didn't write it down, or I don't remember. I think it's this year. I think that's what they keep saying.
That's what they keep saying. Yeah.
The Alto devs are making a new story-based puzzle game called Summerhill. That was just very pretty, like very nice to look at. We saw a bunch of other games, but the only other one from this list that really caught my eye was Haunty, which I spoke on Nintendo Shack about. Haunty has a gorgeous art style. This twin stick shooter that looks like unlike anything you've ever seen before. So I gotta play that one. Those were my highlights from Day of the Devs. What about you guys?
I didn't see that show, so
This one I missed.
I didn't watch
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. Moving on to my personal favorite every year, the Devolver Digital Direct. I was joined by one Sean Capri, and we watched this showcase, and it was a lot of fun because they had a countdown timer until the show began. Me and Sean were just bullshitting. We're just shooting the shit, you know. And while they're doing it, they're playing trailers for games. But because they're on the pre-show, like I think most people, we're not paying it a whole lot of attention, right? We're just kind of talking over these trailers. They showed Karma Zoo. They showed the Comic Wheel Sisterhood. They showed Hellboy, which continues to look awesome. The Hellboy game looks incredible. They showed Sludge Life 2, which just got a demo, and I played it. And it was fucking rad. I want Dev to play it, but if he said he's not going to, Delvin, I need you to download the demo to Sludge Life 2 on your Steam Deck and play the demo. It's really
Sludge Life 2.
Really cool.
Okay.
If you're into Devolver shenanigans, 90s crass humor, you gotta play it. It's a really funny game. And just wonky, almost like this Parappa the Rappa style, but modern and grimy and grungy is cool, man. It's a really cool game. Very funny.
Everything that I saw and that I was very confused why you would think that I'd want to play this. Nothing about that says
Try it. Try it and let me know. Sludge Life 2.
Sludge Life 2. I'm like
Sludge Life 2.
No.
Bleak Sword DX, and then we're sitting there talking. Me and Sean are talking, just shooting the shit, and Grasshopper shows up and starts talking. We've got Garcia Hotspur from Shadows of a Dam the character starts walking down this hallway. He takes a shot at Suda, like with his gun. Then he shoots the director in the head and he falls out the window and his head explodes. And while this is going on, like Sean and I are talking, and I'm like, oh, Sean, like Grasshopper's talking. Because you two know that I have been following these rumors on what Grasshopper is apparently counting down to and working on, because I wanted it to be a Shadows of the Dam remake. The reason that I've had my heart set on that is because when they made Travis Strikes Again on Nintendo Switch a few years ago, their entire Shadows of the Dam cutscenes in that game that were just remade. Not like from the game, just brand new original Shadows of the Dam content. And I was like, there's no way they're just doing that just because, right? Like they got to be trying to do something. And all of the rumors and suggestions from sources online was that they're going to remake Flower, Sun, and Rain, which is a terrible video game. It's just an awful, awful, awful video game that some people love dearly. And I'm sorry if you were one of those people. I love Suda51, and I think that game is awful. And I think that's kind of the point. I think it's meant to be awful. I think that's what he was going for. But they announced Shadows of the Dam Remastered is in development. And it was so funny because the way that it lined up is it pops on screen. Sean and I are not listening. I look at it and I just tell Sean, they're apparently supposed to be announcing something soon. I want it to be Shadows of the Dam Remastered. And like 2 seconds later, screen flash, Shadows of the Dam Remastered comes across. I was like, oh shit, they're doing it. So I was very excited. And then they announced that they're having a Grasshopper Direct, which airs tonight in about an hour and 15 minutes. So if we want to, we can just pull that stream into the show. Or if we don't, I can just like monitor Twitter and just announce any things as they're happening. But yeah, they're having some sort of direct, and they may have more announcements for that or more announcements for other things. I don't know. But I was excited about that one. In the actual showcase, they showed 4 games: Wizard with a Gun, The Talos Principle 2, Baby Steps, and Human Fall Flat. Baby Steps might be the most one to talk about because it's literally a walking simulator. It's like a derpy physics game where you learn to walk, I guess, with triggers or sticks, and like walking is hard, which leads to this dumb stuff that you do. It's like a physics sim. It looks dumb, but I kind of want to play a demo of it because it just looks funny. I tried Wizard with a Gun. There is a demo for it. It went live right after the show. It's okay. I'm not particularly fond of it. Like there wasn't any whole lot there attaching me to it. I'm not gonna run out to wishlist it or look to buy it, which pains me.
It never looked good to me.
Because I feel like every year for the Devolver for maybe the last 5 years, they've given me like a Game of the Year candidate, except for this year. That aside, they had a hilarious spectacle where they made fun of AI and their new mascot Volvi, and they actually had Volve-E, an Android AI version of Volve that did all kinds of wacky shenanigans, and that was fun. Me and Sean had a lot of laughs for about 20 minutes. It was a short show.
Yeah, I'm still pissed that it wasn't on Saturday like it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
So I
not
could
at
be
night.
there.
It's not fun if it's not late at night.
It's bullshit.
It felt toned down, and not as maybe they just didn't have enough to announce. I'm sure I'm sure they're getting, or are they getting the check to partner with them, or are they giving the check to partner with Jeff?
I always wonder that with everything. Literally every bit of this. I always wonder that. I'm glad that it didn't, like, it doesn't always have to be these totally raunchy 18 plus things. Like,
sure, yeah.
then it's not special when it does happen. And then it's just a matter of like more body count every year. I thought this was
the
really
first game that they got
take.
me on was Ape Out, like from their direct, and like that's not a, like a Devolver game, like in that regard. I loved Ape Out. And
isn't it though?
Huh?
I mean, isn't Ape Out though? You're smashing people with.
Yeah, I guess so, but not like in the. Yeah. Maybe you're right.
It's kind of violent.
Well, it's definitely violent.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't show Angerfoot. They didn't show Plucky Squire. I was hoping to get dates for a lot of these games I've been waiting on. They didn't talk about any of those. They were just missing in action. Nothing there.
Wonder if they're saving it for some other show or if they're just really not ready.
Not ready. That's what I would chalk it up to.
Angerfoot should be ready. Like, I feel like there's just that
demo I played was great.
Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago.
It's first person Ape Out with the foot.
Anything else from Devolver?
Can't wait for Shadows of the Dam.
I can't wait to see it.
Great game.
Very excited. I don't know. Great game. It's a good game.
It's got pretty good reviews, apparently. I remember the box.
It's got a troubled history with Suda fans.
I read that.
Because EA really, really cut a lot of the game up. And he's talked about it several times since then. They just wouldn't let him kind of be Suda. It's like toned down Suda. That said, it's very fun. And it is made by 2 legendary creators, right? Shinji Mikami. So if there is a game to recommend to like non-Suda fans to try, that might be like the most approachable, the easiest to get into. No More Heroes has like a crazy backstory and recurring characters that nobody knows about, especially Travis Strikes Again. I can only imagine having never played anything and you play Travis Strikes Again, you're completely lost. You have no idea what the fuck's going on. It sounds nonsensical. Yeah. And barring like Lollipop Chainsaw being available, like Shadows of the Dam might be the easiest to recommend to people because it is just a shooter. Anyway, yeah, we'll see. Next up, I wrote down a list of games from the IGN show, from the Future Games show, from the PC show, from the Future of Play show, and from the Wholesome Direct. These are the ones that caught my eye, and not just for me, but just caught my eye as like being particularly good. Did any of you watch these games or these showcases?
I didn't.
No.
Okay. So the first one might be one of my favorite games that I saw from this week. I mean, it is on the short list. And it is a game called Resistor. And Resistor is a racing RPG. They called it a CarPG in the trailer, which I just adored because I felt nostalgic because we used to get all these cringy video game terms like that, and we haven't in years. And they were like, we call it, and it was the way they did it too. They're like, we like to think of it as a CarPG. I was like, fucking, they did it. Yes. It's Mad Max meets Speedrunner. Speed Racer is really what it is. That's really what it is. And I was like, this looks great. Wasn't gameplay, was like an animation style, more of a cinematic. So we got to see, right? But I'm down. I can't wait to play it. Resistors on one of my short lists. Enchanted Portals is Cuphead. There's really no other way of saying. If you liked Cuphead, you need to know what Enchanted Portals is because it's Cuphead. It's another Cuphead game. It looks like Cuphead. It looks like it plays like Cuphead. It looks like it sounds like Cuphead. It just isn't Cuphead. But if you're really into that, there's another game out there for you to get. Pacific Drive was shown again. We've talked about that game before. It was at the Sony Showcase, the State of Play. That's like the survival car game. I want to try that. Everdeep Aurora is an awesome 16-bit platformer that has a crazy style. It was in the Wholesome Direct. It's like this game where you like dive underground searching for your mom and everything like that. I don't particularly think it's for maybe Dev or Delvin. I don't think you guys play a whole lot of games like this. But I think anybody out there should look it up, especially particularly any games. It's just got a style that sticks out to you hard. Another game that's absolutely on my short list, maybe game of show, like of all the shows that I feel like maybe just kind of went way under everybody's radar. And that's a game called Cookie Cutter. Has any of you guys seen a game called Cookie Cutter?
Nope.
Cookie Cutter is fucking awesome. Rad as hell. It's got this action Metroidvania platformer type thing.
Yeah.
This is the one I tagged you in, Dev.
Yeah.
This badass character.
Awesome.
Yes. From the moment I saw it, I was like, fucking A. That's my game. That's my death's door. Right? Like that's my shit. That's the game this year. Here it is. I cannot wait to play Cookie Cutter. I think it looks like $1 million. It's right up there.
Yeah, man. That one has like the 90s animation. It's absolute madness. The combat looks so much fun. Like I can't wait for this one. This one looks dope.
Yeah. Ludo is a horror game. It has a demo that just came out. I wanted to play it. I haven't got to it yet, but it's like PT meets Edith Finch. It's kind of how it was fixed. So if something like that sounds up your alley, check that out. It's called Ludo. Spirit of the Samurai I put here just because of Dev. I don't think Dev's gonna like it, but I felt the need to put it on the list.
It makes me want Onimusha. That's what it makes me want.
I get that.
Like, yeah.
It has go ahead.
The stop animation is really weird. Like it just feels like the frame rate is checking. Like just watching the game. Yeah. It's really weird. But it also looks pretty cool. So
but I like it. Yeah. The Spider-Man did it. I thought it was awesome. Right. The little spider suit. And Hi-Fi Rush has a little bit of that. I think it's cool. When used right, I like it. Renee, I played. That was another demo. I played it. It's like Shovel Knight. It's like Shovel Knight. That's why I put it down. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's like Shovel Knight. And I played it and I was like, yeah, it's like Shovel Knight. If you want a platformer where you can walk around and get a bunch of quests and air juggle people as you smash about and collect things and, turn it in for better swords and stuff and progress to the next world, next level. Yeah, that's what that game is. It's called Renee. Mullet Mad Jack had one of the craziest trailers I've seen this week. It is a rogue first-person shooter that has all of the acid, grimy neon drip that you would expect from a game called Mullet Mad Jack. So that was a standout for me. Leica is a new game from Thunderfall. We've seen that one before, but that was shown again. Arctic Awakening I threw in here just because, Delvin, you and I watched that last year at the PC Gamer Show. That was the Firewatch-like game where you crashed in the snow and you walked around and did the thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, it has a demo now. You can go play it on Steam. You play on your Steam Deck if you want.
Oh,
cool. Did any of these have dates, Donnie? Or like, what was the show like?
To be honest with you, I didn't write a whole lot of dates down unless they were like outside of like the Xbox or Ubisoft show.
Well, I feel like overall, outside of these shows, like didn't really get a lot of dates. Everybody's very hesitant, I think, to lock it
Mhm.
down, like to
Yeah.
say this is the date. Like I think we're maybe more than ever before. Just it's coming. We'll tell you when we're confident in the date.
I feel
think
like a
that's a
lot
good
of them
thing.
were years. We're getting a
Right.
lot of 2023,
Yep.
2024. So that's, and when that happens, that's why you're not hearing me read dates, because when that happens, I'm not writing down dates.
That's why I wanted to. I figured
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
Yeah.
The last game that I wrote down, and I did, I thought I pinged you on this one, Sean. There's a turn-based musical RPG called Fretless. And the cards that you acquire play riffs. And you play the cards to play the riffs in like this musical, again, turn-based RPG game. And I thought it was cool. If you're into music-based like rhythm game, if you're into RPGs, I think there's a lot of crossover here for a lot of different people. I did specifically think of Sean.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check out
And,
these showcases. I'm gonna have them basically. I watched the ones that we streamed and didn't stream along with these ones. They're sort of feel like these were supplementary
Yeah, of
showcases.
course. Yeah, I think most people missed them or
Mhm.
didn't. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of cross-pollination. And that's, so before when we got started, I said I really enjoyed my time this week. I really did. I watched a lot of showcases. I think a lot of showcases a lot of people didn't watch. And even having watched all of them, I really enjoyed them. Like the IGN show was fun. The Future of Games was fun. I watched Tribeca was fun. Like I just sat down and just enjoyed the show and enjoyed just seeing games. I felt like we were just seeing so many new games
Mhm.
that I was just kind of, and I think it helps that the presentations for these things have come so far since when we started. I think that's why I wasn't so, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Delvin, and it's why I wasn't so hard on PlayStation, because my barrier, everything that I compare a bad showcase to now seems really good. Like even a showcase that isn't like stellar compared to the bad showcases that I have seen through the years is still pretty good. Like everybody's basically adapted to this Nintendo Direct-ish like format. And yeah, it's pretty good. Future Games Show had Spider-Man, the Yuri Lowenthal or whatever. You guys got that?
Yeah.
And
Yuri Lowenthal.
another voice actress, I forget her name, she's super popular. Laura Bailey.
Yeah, Laura Bailey.
Yeah, they had them as MCs. And,
That's
you know, the chat was terrible and just destroying every time they made a cringy joke. But I was just laughing. I was like, this is fun. They got these MCs. They're making these little jokes. But, like, overall, it's entertaining. It was brisk, and it kept the pace. They didn't stick around too long, you know? So, like, there weren't a whole lot of times I felt bored. I was looking at my phone. I was just kind of digging the show.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have another drink, and then we're going to talk about the Xbox showcase.
Xbox. Yay.
Yeah.
World premiere.
Yeah.
Delvin and Haley and I streamed this live, and I gotta say, I think Xbox had one of the best shows they've ever done.
I agree.
Good for them.
And I'm not even so much grading it on the content, just like the distribution, the pace, everything just felt nice and flowy, and I didn't really check out at all until like the super long Starfield thing at the end. But I probably was going to watch all that to begin with. I just started doing some notes. But yeah, the show was just really cool. They had a lot of different stuff that they showed. I didn't write them all down in order. What I tried to do is I tried to put them in blocks. So I hope that makes sense, but we'll start here. Fable started the show. It was teased. I said it was teased. People were like, oh, it's not a tease, it's so far away. And there was Fable. Fable was here. We got to see Fable. We got a cinematic, like a cutscene, all in engine, all captured on Xbox, and we saw gameplay. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw actual gameplay snippets of what this game is supposed to look like in engine, and it looks way different than the Fable of old. It looks beautiful. I'm very excited. What did you guys think of Fable?
Well, you guys go first. I'll talk about it on the show.
I got nothing to say about it because I didn't see it.
I think that the way they showed Fable is the playbook for Xbox to show us new games from now on. And when I think about that, I think about God of War maybe is one of the only other games that did it better. The first time we saw God of War 2018 was phenomenal. But this gave us all the things. It gave us a good look at the tone and the humor and the writing and the look of it and the world, a little bit of the gameplay. It was placed at a perfect spot in the showcase, just being first and ending all of those questions and putting Playground back at the front of all of this stuff. I thought was amazing. So,
Really
and I
deserved.
actually don't have all the history that you do, Donnie, with Fable. Like, I don't have a whole lot of anticipation for this. I just know this is a big deal, and I thought it looked great. And overall, I think we saw out of all the showcases this June, the games look next gen finally. I feel like
Yeah.
the graphics, like they finally took this leap forward. I don't know if I'm just being a homer on this. I wouldn't say just about Xbox. I think that's across the board. I think Star Wars as well looked incredible, and there's a lot of examples of games looking really good. So I thought it was good. And I'm okay with not being a date 2024. We'll see. You know, I kind of doubt it a little bit, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
So I'll bring some conversation about Fable here, since folks don't have history about it. From the Reddit, I've been a member of Reddit Fable for a decade, and a lot of Reddit folks were really upset. There were a lot of threads; they were not happy because this is such a departure from Fable of old. I'm not sure what they were expecting. I think when you think Fable, you think cartoony, derpy things. I think maybe people thought maybe it would come out looking something more like grounded. I think the biggest disconnect between those folks and myself is I think those folks were expecting Fable 4, whereas I have always said from the get-go they'll never make Fable again. You can't make that Fable. That Fable was specific to Lionhead. It was specific to that studio in that region of those people. Like, I don't think you can recreate that.
And that generation of games, Donnie.
And exactly, I don't think that generation even plays well in today's. Like, you
Right.
can't just release a Fable 3 in 2023. I don't think people would take too kindly to it.
Which is too bad, really.
Sure. But at the same time, I've put a lot of faith in Playground for the last few years. I keep telling everybody that if there was any studio that Xbox has to revitalize Fable, in my opinion, it is Playground. And I think that's a crazy thing to say because you only know them for car games. But as a thing that I've said over and over again, but they make the best car games like in the world. Like, they are just really, really good at making video games. I think
you don't doubt these guys.
Yeah, they're every bit as good as any other studio that Xbox has. I wouldn't like, they are every bit as good as everybody else. There is nobody above Playground, in my opinion.
Agree. I agree.
There may be like, I would put the Coalition in them on same grounds, but there's nobody better than them. They crush it. And I just I never thought that whatever they released, I never thought it would be bad. Like, people may not like it, but it wouldn't be bad. Like, they just make really, really good video games. So I was expecting it to be a different Fable. I've always said that. The only thing that I hoped was that they would keep some of that Fable magic, the things that made Fable Fable. And this trailer, they did. The comedy, the humor. We saw them kick a chicken. We're going to get to punt chickens. Like, it's still Fable. Now, it's going to be it's a reboot, right? It's a whole new Fable. I think they're leaning more into the namesake. It's going to be more like fairy tales and folklore and fables of old. But I think they're going to, I still expect it to be open world and all that. Like, they're still going to adhere to the brand, but it'll be a new Fable. And I think this is a great I think Fable's a great name for it. I think it's a great starting place to launch something new.
Did the other ones do that, like leaning into the fables, like its namesake, or was it just fantasy-ish?
Sort of with characters and stuff. Like, I think this one's probably going to go a lot harder in that direction.
Yeah,
from the trailer,
it's
it's hard not to come away from that saying like, oh, they're going to go really into this.
Which I feel like for anybody who liked A Wolf Among Us, like that Fables like, comic series, like. And we're not getting much more of that these days, unless you're into comics, and that sequel is taking forever. I think that's such a wonderful world to play in, and kind of reminds me of the Lies of P a little bit as well. Like, just put some twisted takes on these classic stories. I think that's awesome.
Yep. Fable had its own original stories, its own character, its own hero, its own thing, and every one of them was different. Fable 1 might have been the most like that. I think Fable 2 was maybe more original. Fable 3 was completely different. But as I did say this in the Discord, so I'll just share it on the podcast. I had one person that really, really disliked it and created a thread, all the things he hated about it. And I don't know if this is good or bad. I definitely don't think people want to hear that, like hear this. But as a fan, the only response I could give him was 4 years ago, this franchise was dead forever. And now we have a new game coming, and it's a beautiful game from one of the best studios in the world. Like, I'm not going to whine about it too much.
Yep. Well,
and I'm not going to behold them and be like, you're not Lionhead and you're not this, you're not that. Like, I am, and again, short bar, I am just happy that it exists. I love Fable.
But
Fable, I've said for years.
You got what you got before? Like, does it start the show? Does it like? I feel like this is something. The way they presented it, this is going to be one of Xbox's flagship titles again.
It should be, yeah, yep.
Like, because these games that people are waiting for Xbox to put out, that's the expectation, is that they carry this huge amount of weight. So, yeah, like, it kind of needs to do a lot of what, if I can make the comparison to like Assassin's Creed with Origins, like they needed to expand beyond, and maybe later on you can have a Fable that goes back to the old school, like we're getting with Assassin's Creed Mirage. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking about with this. But this needs to be a big, like I said, a tent pole in their lineup.
This is infinitely more cinematic than any Fable game ever was.
Yeah, well said.
You know,
I just watched the trailer. It looks hilarious.
It does. I was gleaming from ear to ear as well. I was like, this is great.
This looked hilarious.
And this is all I wanted.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I didn't care that the game was far out. I've been saying I expect it to be in 25. I'm okay with that. And I just wanted to get a look at what the game was so we could have a better idea for what to expect. We saw the little teaser for the name, but we never got an idea of what the game was going to look like, what it was going to feel like. Now we do. Now we have an idea of what we can expect.
Donnie.
It does, yeah.
There's games
that is Fable.
So miserable.
Fable is that. No, Fable is that. Yeah, you could play evil. Shrek. There's a morality system. You could play evil if you wanted to, but even the evil side is really funny.
Just this wicked, twisted kind of thing.
It's, to me, like watching the trailer and the tone of it just feels like Shrek. It feels like we are going to
that's good.
Yes,
that's good.
And we're going to just make it silly. We're going to kind of make a mockery out of it.
That's Fable.
A little raunchy.
That's Fable.
It looked really good,
and that's why I was so happy, because that's what I kept saying during the trailer. I was like, yeah, this is Fable. Like, it's different, it's new, but it feels like Fable. And that is a hard bar. Like, that was not an easy task for them to completely make a new game, a reboot, a whole different thing, but still hold like some semblance of its past and its legacy, to hold, the name.
And then show it to you for the first time. Like, that's kind of what I was getting at the beginning, is like, this is the first we've seen it. And I think it showed so well. It needed to convey a lot. It needed to answer a lot of questions. The only other thing we got before this was a logo.
Yep.
And that's it. And so for them, I'm totally with
the
you.
logo. Didn't they like knock the fairy out or something like that? Like,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah, we did get
the frog.
That's right.
Get it with the tongue and stuff.
Yeah,
and even then,
like
in the trailer, she got caught and she's like, "Oh, Fable." I was digging it, and I've said it again, and I'll probably say it many more times where it comes out. Fable was it is my Xbox game. I think when I hear the Xbox fans talk about Halo and playing all night and staying with their friends and finding 360 and everything, I have all those feelings. I just have them for Fable. Fable was the game that I think brought me to the show, and it was everything. I was day one on every Fable, and I always wanted to play them because I found Fable on Xbox, like the Xbox, because the guy at GameStop was like, "Oh, you love Zelda? You should play Fable." And I did, and he was right. I was like, "Oh, I do love Fable," and I've become a Fable fan ever since. So like the Gears thing doesn't happen, the Game Passes, and none of that ever happens if I never find Fable. So I'm just stoked that it's back. I can't tell you how much joy.
Fable 3 in plastic.
I love Fable 3, and that's a controversial thing. Most Fable fans don't, and I think it's my favorite. I love Fable 3. And it's incredible playing back and Pat. Playing 4K. It's really sharp and nice now. Anyway, we have to move on. The show will last forever. We saw Hellblade and Avowed, and they're both next year. So you got dates on both of them. They're coming out in 2024. What did you guys think about those?
Hellblade looked dope, but Hellblade's always looked dope. I'm just glad that now we have a window of when it may actually come out.
Yep.
I think it's great. I think People been complaining about getting Xbox games. It's been a whole conversation all this year. Xbox has no games, no games. Now they're giving us dates for things that people want to see. And I think as an Xbox fan, you have to be excited. You're getting games this year, and you got some games that the windows for next year that you kind of seeing the
building
the
roadmap.
dominoes fall where they need. And I think that's awesome.
Years of dreams.
Kind of felt like that in a cheesy way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again, another flagship, I think, from another tentpole for Hellblade. Obsidian is just, they're not going to miss. I feel like Obsidian is going to be, I don't want to say Insomniac because they don't have anything like Spider-Man on the go, but as far as the cadence of the releases, they can be that of just high quality games that you can count on. They'll be mid to high 8s, and RPG gamers will love them. I don't imagine
they did Grounded,
Dev or Delvin will play any of these. I mean, yeah, the Grounded is like, I forget about that. It's such an interesting, weird turn for them to do that. I wonder if that's indicative of something else that's coming. Same with like Hi-Fi Rush from Tango. Like you've got all these weird offshoot games from some of these studios, which I think that's a good thing. I think that's what we want.
It's a really good thing. Think about like Horizon.
Yeah.
Guerrilla made Killzone, and then they pivoted and made Horizon. Like allow studios to try something different. You might get a gem. You never know.
Well, and especially the Xbox stable, where you have the Coalition doing Gears, you have 343 doing Halo, like you've got Turn 10 doing Forza, but now you've got Playground doing Fable. So like maybe there's something there, because that's been PlayStation's playbook since the beginning.
I gotta just say it again because Fable just makes I'm so much happier when I hear Fable being talked about again. I can't tell you how excited and happy I'd be to see them just fucking nail it. I just really, really want them to nail it.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Excellent. There people are complaining about Hellblade. It's getting a lot of complaints. I understand the complaints. But I will say I was absolutely captivated by the trailer. I think we all were when we were live streaming. I'm not sure I was in carpool, but over here, Sean, we all got super quiet.
I was going to say the
just
exact same
right
thing.
into the microphone, just listening to every word and whisper, like shut up.
Probably the only one.
Talking.
The only one where you can see people kind of like leaning in more and more.
Yeah.
The audio experience came through on a stream, which I can only imagine what it's going to be like when we're playing the real game itself. I mean, that game is it's a showstopper, really. And Xbox doesn't have too many of those.
I saw, and I always bring up Resistance, but I mean, I think this is actually a pretty common one with Hellblade. A lot of people want to see more. They want to see gameplay. I'm a little turned off because like a big complaint I keep hearing is like they want to see combat, which I understand because I guess in this day and age, which is always complained for gameplay. But the hard part the part that I want to challenge with that is Hellblade was never great because of the combat in the first place. Mm-hmm. Like when I think Hellblade and why I love that game, I'm not like, man, that sword fight I had on that bridge was awesome. Like that's not it at all. Like you're missing the forest for the trees if that's what you really care about with a game like Hellblade.
Well, I think the dev time on this,
but that's not
the amount of time we've known about this, I think speaks to that, Donnie. Like this launched our awareness of the Series X.
Yeah,
right?
It's been years.
So I think people are maybe right to wonder what else is there. Is this just a really, really pretty version of the first game, or is there?
They also moved.
Added?
I mean, and I'm just giving them cover fire. I do love Hellblade, so I mean, I'll cop to that. Maybe I'm just being a shill. They also moved to Unreal Engine, right?
Unreal
like mid cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why it's taking so long. It's not taking so long because they're building a giant scope game or something. Like 18 months ago, they swapped engines.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, do you really need to see the combat? The combat was.
I don't. Yeah, no, that's the least of my concerns with Hellblade.
What drives the game is the narrative, and you happen to also have good combat. Like,
see that to me,
Hellblade
is the story game.
Yeah,
right. It's the narrative game. Like that's the most important part is the story. And I found that trailer captivating. I was on every word. I couldn't stop. I couldn't listen. I couldn't stop listening. I had to listen.
I'm ready.
More.
I'm here. What do you want from me?
Good. So good. I can't wait. Avowed, they have started to kind of push back on the marketing language against the Skyrim comps. right? I heard that multiple times, like more Outer Worlds, not Skyrim. So I'm wondering if there's like maybe a slight shift in kind of how, because when that game was first, I mean, it was what, 3 years ago we saw it out for the first time, and what did we see? We saw somebody hold a sword. But when we saw it, they were definitely being like, oh yeah, this is our Skyrim. And then just, it's noticeable that they're kind of, maybe not quite that.
Yeah.
Really? It still feels like Skyrim when I was watching
It looks like Skyrim with colors to me.
it looks
That's
like
when I watched the
Skyrim.
trailer. I was like,
Yeah.
it's Skyrim colors, which I'm down. Like there may be somebody out there doesn't like. I'm like, no, not me. I'm all in. Skyrim with colors sounds great.
But I get why they ran it in, because that's a high mark to live
It's a
up
lofty
to,
bar.
'cause you don't want to be that game. Yeah, you don't want to be that game. Hey, we're like Skyrim, and they're like, no, you're not. You don't want to have that kind of.
And
Kinda
the next
silly
Skyrim's gonna have a
Skyrim.
10-year dev cycle on it. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna take a decade, and we want these games sooner, so we get these ones. And people forget how good and witty and how solid the Outer Worlds is. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Right.
really good through pound for pound. It's excellent. There's no fluff to it, and that's what I'm looking forward to with Avowed is actually the writing and the performances, the choices that you can make, and the fact that this isn't going to take me 5,000 hours. Like I'll actually see the end to this, and actually reminds me to go back and
Says the man. Can't wait to play Starfield, but I just feel the need.
dude, I like look, I get one.
Okay, it's here. Next up, we saw finally, after years of waiting, the next title from Compulsion. It is called South of Midnight, and we saw what I call a cinematic trailer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No date. It's okay. It's the first time we saw the game. No gameplay. Again, it's okay. It's the first time we saw the reveal of the game. It set the tone. I'm here for the tone, but I am resistant and I'm hesitant only because of We Happy Few. We Happy Few had some of the best marketing at the time. That game looked amazing until it came out.
Yeah.
Like it looked incredible until we actually played it. And then we're like, oh, this is not it at all. And that's my only resistance to wrap my arms too far around South of Midnight without seeing a lot more. I can't get too excited just because of the recent past with Compulsion. What did you guys think?
Having not played We Happy Few,
Mm.
I could care less, but this shit looks cool. So I'm here for it.
There's a
It
bow.
caught my interest. Okay.
Yeah, you love games with a bow.
I just the music, everything about it. I'm just like I like the style. I'm
the
interested.
blues and shit. Yeah, no,
I'd like to know
that's
more.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to
I
learn
agree.
more?
I dug the southern atmosphere of it.
Mhm.
I think what hurt me with We Happy Few is the whole. I played it in early access, so when it actually officially came out, I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Hey, newsflash! It wasn't better when it actually came out.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, that's what I
basically
kinda
the same
noticed,
thing
like,
you knew in early access.
Because when it came out, I'm like, oh, this is the same thing I played in early access. I'm
Yeah,
not
I was
playing more of
all-
this.
All in on We Happy Few. I thought it was going to be incredible.
I was too when it
Hard
first
miss.
came out, and it was like, yeah, it was. But I'm super interested in based off the trailer. I'm like, this looks cool. This is a different setting that we haven't seen in video games much. So I
Yeah.
want to see what they do with it, and I hope they catch the feel. If they're going in the route that it seemed like it's going with the Southern Louisiana type bluesy feel to it, I hope they catch the feeling and the bayou feel and the culture into it. I think that's a really cool setting for a video game.
Jez has been saying that this is kind of a back to basics for them. So I'm hoping that when we see the game, maybe it is maybe a little bit like easier to digest, like right at first glance, and maybe not as systems driven and stuff as We Happy Few, but who knows?
That's so funny because I didn't see that he said that, and I was about to jump in to say I can't wait to see Compulsion's glow up kind of happen now that they're backed by Microsoft. But maybe that's not
By
what
money.
the direction is. And like, not everyone has to do that. It doesn't have to be you go from this indie team to something massive. I don't know. Maybe that is the expectation. But
They've
back
grown
to
a
basics.
lot in the years
Yeah.
since they were acquired. They've moved to a new studio. I think they've grown. I think they've doubled their work staff. So I mean, they're building a big studio over there.
Yeah, I
So
think
it
of
might
them,
be big, but the last time I heard Jez talk about it, I want to say that he was saying something like an action platformer type thing. But it's been some time, and I might be misremembering that.
That's funny because the cinematic, the CGI trailer only, I feel like that's almost never what I would think. You know,
I'm
like
with you, and that's why I'm a little hesitant to say it. But I do remember him
Yeah.
saying it was going like a simpler concept type of game design than what they did with the We Happy Few.
And I don't want to write that off. Like I'm just like Prince of Persia. Like I'm in it for Prince of Persia as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
What
We'll
I
see.
got
I mean-
from it is something like Kina. Like
That's what I was thinking from the trailer.
That's
Yeah,
what
something
I'm
like Kina,
assuming.
maybe even like a Tomb
Yeah,
Raider, like
I got
something
that too.
like that. Yeah,
mhm.
we'll see. Then we got In Exile, which showed a new game called Clockwork Revolution, and they're making a Bioshock game. Like,
Yeah, I was
there's
gonna
no
say,
other
big
way to
Bioshock
fucking sign to
feels.
say it. It looks awesome.
I'm so glad you
It
put
does.
this one right after the last game, because one of the things that I think sunk We Happy Few was, oh, this looks like BioShock.
Yeah,
So now here we are again. Like, "Ooh,
yeah,
that's
but
not a
this
good
looks
thing."
like Bioshock.
I mean,
Like, this
yeah.
literally looks
No.
like Bioshock.
Yeah, if you would have said that this was made
does.
by
Right. If you
by
put a
what's his face.
Bioshock
Oh,
logo on
yeah.
this, people
Can't
believe
blame
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Yeah, I mean, In Exile, another really good developer that makes really good video games. This is a departure for them, and I'm excited to see if they can reach new heights. I think they can. I think they can personally.
Yeah, I think they're really
very
great
good.
at solid game mechanics and systems and making them fun. Like, because that sounds boring, like game systems, but like they make them interesting. So again, this could be another one of those glow ups. This is a team that has done top down isometric turn-based stuff,
Yeah.
Wasteland and whatnot. And yeah, now they get thrust into this. So good for them. I can't wait to see more on this one. But the BioShock comparisons are obvious.
Yeah,
So,
you can't
yeah.
really talk about without saying it.
mhm.
That joins like the group of the games beyond kind of like this first phase we've got upcoming, right? We've got Starfield and Motorsport. We have Avowed and Fable.
Back to back, Donnie.
And then Clockwork Revolution and South of Midnight join, Indiana Jones and all the other games that are kind of beyond those. And so Xbox is, you said earlier, they're starting to line up the dominoes.
Yeah.
Not only are they starting to line up the dominoes, beginning of this fall, the dominoes begin to fall, right? Like they're starting to actually really set it up. And now we not only have games like dated that are coming soon, but then now we can start to expect what comes after that, and then what comes after that. Which gets back to the point that Matt Booty reiterated that they want to have 4 like first party exclusives a year. They used to say 1 a quarter. I think they're getting away from that. They realize that they can't space everything out every quarter.
Yeah.
But they at least want to have 4 outputs a year in addition to Game Pass, in addition to third parties and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I think we start to see that taking shape now. When the Xbox Series X was launched, I said 2023 was supposed to be the year that this all got going. And it seems like it was all kind of delayed like a year. like we were expecting Starfield.
They're going to be
they're going to
be one off, and just one of those games this year isn't very good.
Yep.
Like Redfall. Well, Hi-Fi Rush was there, so there are 4 this year.
I'm excited
At
to
least.
see. I'm excited to see them start to like hit like the studios that they bought, the delays and everything. It looks like it's all maybe. I don't want to say turn the corner. They still got to release the games. They still got to be good, right? But like there's definitely a lot more reason for optimism, and it looks like things are starting to take shape.
I mean, you guys know my take on Redfall from day one was never all that interested. I can't pretend to be huge fans of the Dishonored games.
Recently
like, I wish I was.
updated Redfall.
Yeah,
Redfall got an update. Finally got a patch.
yeah.
I played it.
I'll
It
still
does feel
wait.
better. It's a little better. It's not. They were right to call it an incremental patch. I can
Yeah.
notice differences. I don't think many people would.
I mean, the story that you guys talked about last week, just at the core of it, like you can patch it, but like
Yeah, it's
the
just,
fact that nobody wanted to work on it, and
unfinished. It's not very good. It's not
so.
very good.
Yeah.
But Motorsport and Starfield coming
Dude.
out, like I'm telling you, this is the year of dreams for
Sean.
me. Like this is it.
That's a great
Motorsport
1-2 punch.
looks incredible.
Motorsport looks.
I've
good.
never played Motorsport, so I was watching the game trailer.
I
the
heard
game,
you talking about that.
the
last
game
week.
player trailer. I watched the gameplay trailer and I shared it in the Discord. And Seth was like, "This campaign's like the last one." I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't know because I
Yeah.
never played it." I was like, "This looks great. I can't
Yep.
wait to play it." I'll just geek out about it a bit because I've gotten more into Motorsport and I've gotten more into this type of stuff. And the way they're talking about how you level up your cars and earn
Yes.
experience through every corner of the track,
It's an
It just-
RPG.
it just
Dude.
feels so much like when you're listening to like F1 radio and you hear a driver, they're talking like, I'm into turn 13, I got to break off the pedal to get into the next thing to get my exit. And I'm like, man, I think I'm going to eat this up. Like,
Yep.
this looks really, really
Yep.
good.
And it teaches you how to play as well, at least historically. Like when you do a good turn, it'll tell you that was a good turn versus a
that
great
stuff's gonna
turn
be
like that.
addictive.
I love that.
Because
Yeah,
the
it really
difference
is.
between that and another racing game is you're just turning and doing laps.
Yep.
And you're not really paying that much attention. And I think in this game, it's going to be like, no. You are going to be glued in at every moment of that
Totally.
racetrack.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Phil wore a Hexen shirt, and they announced an Xbox Series S now available in black with a 1 terabyte SSD in it for $349, which I think is way too much for a Series S. Way too much. But it looks pretty in black. But I already showed you guys that we painted Jack's black. It looks better in black, I think. Period. But
We had a few people in our chat say they were gonna upgrade. Yeah, it's interesting. Like if you already have one, and you have now options with on the external expansions, like maybe just do that. But maybe it's the fact that it's black.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're going $350 into an Xbox, I really question why you're not just getting the X.
I always get the prices mixed up because of
doesn't make any
US. Like the X is $399.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense for
at a
versus
$349 point.
The Series S was on sale today at Dell.com for $199.
Yeah, that's more the direction they need to go with that. I'd rather see a discless Series X at $349.
Same.
Like a digital only Series X for $349.
And I don't mean to poo-poo on it. I think it looks good. And if you want to buy one, I'm not telling you not to. I just think with the price, with the market, with where the market is games wise, with what the Series S can and can't do,
Yeah,
I think $349 is a premium. You're asking
it's just
a lot.
margins. Well, that's what it is. It's an acknowledgement of the economy right now.
I was going to say, I think the best thing about this is that maybe their justification for doing this is, hey, we're doing this so we don't raise the price of the X. If they want to say something like that, I get it. But it's just, I wouldn't recommend any of my friends to do this. Even if they're like, I love it in black, I'd be like, dude, just paint it black. Like, just go get one and paint it. It's not hard. If I can do it, you can do it. I did it. It looks great.
If anything, they should have released that at $299 and dropped the price of the Series S because storage is cheap as fuck.
They should just, this should just become the new base model, phase out the old one, and this is the base.
I think
because what you're doing by that is you're still raising the price of the S, because the S for the last 2 years has been on sale. I don't think anybody's been paying $299 for an S, right? Like they've all been at like $200. I think Black Friday we saw them at like $150 or $165. It played like they've been dirt cheap.
So I think introducing just tossing them out to people. Here you go. I'm giving
they were so cheap.
They were so cheap. So introducing a new one to replace it is still raising the price on per unit sold.
Yeah,
but this just when is this coming out?
I don't remember if he had a date. I imagine this fall.
I don't think it's that weird of a move.
I think it's this fall.
I feel like if it comes out this fall,
it comes out September 1st.
There you go. So I can easily see that this being on shelves, people buying this, people who don't know. Like,
this for $50 though.
Yeah,
let me ask you this, Delvin. You walk into GameStop.
Storage is so cheap.
You walk into GameStop with a friend of yours who don't have a game and he wants to buy an Xbox, play Starfield. He looks up at the wall.
I'm not the right person for that.
No, he looks up at the wall. Xbox Series S in white is $199. Xbox Series S in black is $349. Xbox Series X is $399. Why would you pick the black Series S?
Because this is my whole thing. I'm not the right person to ask for this. But the mother who comes in the store and 9 times out of 10, that Series S, that white one that's $199, probably gonna be sold out. Oh, which one's the next one I can get? I'll get the $349 one instead of paying.
Right,
the other
but
price.
wouldn't even the most unknowledgeable customer go, what's the difference between the $349 and the $399 one?
It's a medium fry situation.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's actually the trying to sell the Series S at $349.
Because the person's gonna be like, oh, if you spend $50 more, this thing does everything but better.
It's a medium fries. That's
Yeah.
what this is.
But
They
but
actually don't want you to buy
But
it.
there are gonna people. So there are some people who are not going to be able to afford that $50.
Yarden's saying the Series X is $499. Is it $499?
It is
I
$499.
don't know.
Okay.
Okay,
So
then
it's
never
not
mind.
$399.
That-
We're off by 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
It's
I
$499.
never know US dollars.
I bought mine so many years. I don't remember.
I never
Yeah.
know
It's
what.
$499.
I haven't looked at a
anything
price in
Xbox
for so
is,
long. I don't remember.
But that's my thing. I think that
That starts
is
to
a
make more a
middle
little
ground,
more
so-
sense.
It does
It's
a little
still,
more sense.
It's
So
too
it's
expensive
still.
to me.
But
I would say
based on
if
just
if a family
the
member
only
came
change
to
is
me and said,
storage.
"I want to buy an Xbox. Do I get this one or that one?" I'm going to tell them, "Hey, spend the extra $150 because of XYZ." Like to me, it's not enough of a savings to not go with the better model.
But yeah,
Right.
maybe it was just too big a gap between the $199 that you typically see
Sure.
a Series S and the $499. It makes sense. Babbitt says he always buys the medium fried. It's just a little bit more. It's only like 25 cents more.
Yeah,
You just
I
get
never get the
Nah.
medium drink,
I
right?
get
Because like the medium drink's
because
like
Medium
$1.19.
drink.
You get
It's
the
really-
large drink for like
yes. It's a
$1.29.
gallon. Yeah. and
You
that's-
know, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I this is dumb. If
Come on,
anything,
come on,
the price should
Babbitt.
have gone
Babbitt,
down.
Babbitt, listen to me. You and I, look at it. We're both big guys. We're not getting the medium fry.
Get your Coke Zero.
You know, we're not getting the medium fry. Maybe Dev's getting the medium fry. You know?
Yeah, I'm getting the
We're
regular
not getting medium.
size because basically medium is large at this point, so there's no need to
I'm
get the
getting
large.
I should have said drink
Love
because
fries.
really the fries are a hoax anyways. They put the same amount of fries in.
No,
both
if
packages.
people are
Kinda.
excited, I want you to be excited. Go get one. But you know,
I don't want
you to
I
be
thought it
excited.
when
I
they
want
first
you to
announced it.
demand
I was
better.
like, that's way too much. It's just way too much.
It
'Cause
is.
the only difference
it's gonna
is it's 1 terabyte versus what 512
Yeah,
storage, and storage
Yeah.
the
storage
price
is
has
dirt
come
cheap.
down so much.
dirt cheap.
This is awful.
But
It's margins. That's
But
what.
you're-
That's what I
but
think.
you're
Then.
thinking
I agree
about
with
it.
you. I think it's margins.
you're thinking about it in the mindset of a person who can
I'm
change. the
thinking
storage
about
and
it
stuff
as a
like that.
person who uses logic.
There are people.
Well, on that
but
logic
there are
though,
people who are
Dev,
not going to do that shit.
like now you think about it though, because like the Series S before had 2 knocks against it. Like it wasn't as powerful, and it had this like really tiny. Like it had the 512, which sounds like it's half, but it's actually way less. Like the
It's not
usable
enough.
space on it's like 360 or something like that, 360
Mhm.
gigs. Like it's really
remember,
small. So at least now it is parity
Now you can
with.
install Call of Duty, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That's it. Well, I have a Series S, and you definitely get more than that. But I see your point.
You can always
Um,
look. They price high so they can come down. The Series S was just down quickly. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
plan for this.
No, I just
But that's
think
what
that
I was going to say. That's the
it-
next thing I was going to say.
it equalizes it a little bit.
I can see this thing coming down to $299 before you know it.
It needs
Yeah.
to.
Easily.
It needs to come out
Mhm.
of $299 when it launches. It needs to launch on sale.
It might.
I still want a digital only Series X, you guys.
Yeah.
You can put tape over your disk drive, and there you go.
Yeah, but I want to save the money to do it. I want to it's amazing that the only digital only console on Xbox is a Series S. Like PlayStation's got a digital only PS5, and that's
Yep.
the only difference between the two.
And that's what $399.
yeah.
Yep.
Dude, that's a way easier sell
Is
than the Series S at $349. You know.
Yeah.
Oof. If
And
anything,
even-
that might be a bad problem placing it right there. Like, well, you could get this, but you could get a PS5 digital though.
well in the
Yeah.
US only as well too. Like
True.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, yeah, I forgot about that.
the
They raised the
yeah,
price everywhere.
PS5s went up everywhere else.
All right. I got some third-party updates. We're gonna talk about Game Pass. Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws got its first trailer, and if you don't mind, I'd like to save that until we talk about the Ubisoft show. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth was revealed for 2024. A really funny trailer. Cyberpunk 2077 got a Phantom Liberty trailer. It's out September 23rd. I've already pre-ordered it.
I think
Looks
I'm in.
incredible.
Yeah, I think I'm in.
The hands-on impressions coming out of this thing are incredible. They've redone everything. The shooting's done, the driving's done, the spec op's done. Like you might as well just replay the whole damn game.
They finished the game.
Yeah, they basically did.
They finished
A
the
redone,
character
they
creator. Do I
finished the
have
game.
options that don't suck?
We saw a game called Metaphor Refantasy from Atlas. Refantasy.
It's kind of like a new Shin Megami Tensei game, but it's kind of like it's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
I don't think it's
It's
for
a-
anybody of
It's
this
not for
podcast.
anybody. It's not for anybody.
It's not for this
Not for Garrett
podcast. I
Bland.
don't think this is. We
It's a
aren't the
Garrett
podcasters you're
Bland.
looking for.
it's
Uh,
a big deal for Xbox to get that though.
true.
Get that out of
Yeah,
here!
it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And we saw Overwatch 2.
Oh, low
Get
point.
that
Low point.
Okay, so let's move in. So I broke down all of the other games that were in the announcement into Game Pass categories because I think this is a really good way of just organizing it, but also how I like to think about it. So for Game Pass for 2023, we're getting Sea of Thieves Monkey Island expansion adventure story time thing, whatever they're doing, on July 20th. On September 6th, Starfield comes out. There is a game, which if you pre-order gets you cosmetics. There is a premium upgrade, both physically, but also, I love this. If you are planning to get the game via Game Pass, there's a premium upgrade physical that you can buy for like $35 that gets you the digital goodies and the steelbook. So you can have Game Pass and the collector's edition at a discount.
And 5 days early? Is that
And
that
5
also
days
come?
early.
That 5 days early, I'm a fan of that. I know that used to make people stinky in the past, but I'm a fan. Let me pay
I'd
you
much
more
rather
money.
have
and I
that
can pay
than
early.
microtransactions.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
The deluxe version, which includes the first expansion, the steelbook, the patch, and all the things. And then they announced that they have the
it to
stupid
me.
edition that's coming.
Give it to me, Donnie.
That you get a watch and a watch case with all the other things for $300 in one. Sean Capri has an order in for this watch, and I love it.
And I have a green light, Donnie. So I was in my Discord saying, like, I've just secured it. I can make up my mind later. They're not charging me until they ship it, whatever. Yeah, I'm keeping this sucker. I'm getting that
Nice.
watch. I am so excited. Oh my! I thought they were just trying to sell us the watch. I didn't realize like this was going to be one of those Pip-Boy things.
Yeah,
like Fallout, like very similar. I'm just like, why am I excited? I don't know. I have an
Thank you.
Apple Watch. Like, I don't really need this watch.
Can you
That's
just tell me
okay.
why you're excited about Starfield? 'Cause
hang
I-
on, we're getting there. So Sean has a specific role to be here because Starfield was the star of the show. Not only did you get a trailer in the showcase, but you got 40 minutes of trailer after the showcase where they showed, I think, every damn thing you could ever
Everything.
want to know about this game.
Everything.
Us normal three I don't think are particularly excited about Starfield, right?
I am.
Not
Are
even
you?
a little bit.
Yes, I am.
So
Y'all
that's
been
why I
excited about
wanted
everything.
No,
that's
no.
true.
No. Because when they first showed it, I was like, "This looks like No Man's Sky. I don't like this."
Yeah.
Still think it
This
looks like-
presentation kind of showed me like, "No, this is literally Fallout in space."
Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Well,
"Okay,
I-
I'm here for that." That
I
Vastly
wanted
different.
Sean on this show because I want to get some of the energy because I was not excited. So, gentlemen, please talk about Starfield.
I feel like a prerequisite is that you have to love space.
And
I think
don't.
that's where I come
Love
from.
space.
So like,
I do
We
too.
know Donnie doesn't like space. We
I
just
like
the
space.
yeah,
I'm
but you gotta-
getting
you
the
gotta
damn
love- you gotta-
Star
you gotta
Wars
love
game.
Space.
I played
That's not
Dead Space.
space. That's not space.
I like
You don't like
Starship
space.
Troopers. These
Like,
are
this
all
is like
things that take
space.
place in space.
like-
Donnie,
You like shenanigans.
this
Those
is
shenanigans just happen to take place in space, but you don't really like space.
this is you building an ark and grabbing all of the animals with you and just go gallivanting across the galaxy because you think that it's interesting, or at least I think this is why I'm excited, because I think it's fascinating that some star systems have 2 stars, like binary star systems. I think that's cool. Donnie doesn't like space confirmed, says Ryan Interpret in the
Look,
chat.
Yes.
When the shoe fits, Delvin was there when we were. Dude, I toned out so hard.
Oh
I just
my
started doing notes, and
gosh.
I'm sorry, but I've got to tell everybody. I just got to say it, and I don't mean to be your hater, but I'll serve as your foil if you need be.
Mhm.
They started talking about your lasering resources and moving stuff around and customizing ships and trading, and I was like, I couldn't be less interested in this now.
I'm
Like
with
when
you
they
there,
talked about
that's what I
combat
don't
and they
wanna
showed
do.
the shooting and stuff, I was like, cool. And then they spoke for 35 minutes about everything else, and I was like, never mind. Never mind. I'm not interested.
I think what drew me in was the two things. They were like, we had the conversation on the show. We were talking about like, hey, this is Fallout 3 mixed with Mass Effect. When they had the whole planet things and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, this is my jam right there.
And
This
let
is
me
what
just
I
drop
was-
drop a
planets.
let me just drop a cameo on that. Delvin tried to sell me on it. He was like, Donnie, you're gonna love this. You like Mass Effect, right? And I was like, do you ever listen to me
No.
on this show?
He's never. He
No,
clearly
I
is
don't.
not
That's
paying
exactly
any
what he
attention.
said. Dev, you would have left. He was like, you liked
Oh
Mass
my
Effect, right?
God.
It's like, no.
Nope, he
Oh
doesn't.
my gosh. Well,
like you didn't tell about
because
every
who
zombie in
doesn't
the
like
game.
Mass Effect? I understand where you're coming from.
Me!
but
There is that.
Who doesn't? Yeah, well,
me and Donnie,
I have
it's okay to be wrong
Let's just
every
say
once in
I
a
have
while.
terrible co-hosts. Yes,
I
So
know.
here's
It's
the
we can
thing.
say it now.
What I
Just
don't
awful.
like about Mass Effect is all of the resource management stuff. Like I can't.
there's not a lot
You
There's
have
not
to
a lot.
Not
mine
compared to
planets and
Starfield.
shit.
compared to
You're
Starfield.
mining
No, you
planets.
don't.
Not compared to Starfield.
You don't
it's
have
not.
to.
Yeah, you don't really have to. Yeah,
Okay,
not
but
really.
but
I don't-
what I want to be is a rain on your parade party. Let's talk about more exciting things about Starfield.
Well, that's the thing is that the things that excite me about it are gonna bore you all to tears, right? Like
That
I
is
mean, we're already
true.
bored to tears.
Sandwiches?
By that, so
I agree.
Continue.
sandwiches. I want to design.
That was a
I want to
hilarious
design
part.
a ship that looks like a platypus. I think that is amazing. I think that's
Perry.
awesome.
I
What's
want the
that?
game to design the ship for me. I don't want to have to do that. Just give me the damn ship. That
I
looks
think
cool.
that's
it can do
so
that also.
fun. I think there's the element of boarding other people's ships in space.
That was
I think
cool.
sounds amazing as well. You go
That
steal
was
their
cool.
ships, or you can break them down for parts, or you can just have it as part of your hangar almost. You
Man's
got all these
Sky.
like collection. What's that?
So
No Man's Sky. I don't know. I didn't play
No,
No
that-
Man's
no, that
Sky
wasn't-
very
that
much.
wasn't
I don't
No
think that
Man's
was
Sky.
in there.
It
Or
is
boarding
now.
other
That
ships.
wasn't in there.
It is now.
No.
Yeah, there's a whole pirate type thing in No Man's
You know
Sky
what?
where you can
Yeah,
steal
but not
ships.
like that.
I'll leave. Like, I don't know how you podcast with this. Like, that's such bullshit.
Sean,
Like,
every week I get harassed and berated
I'm
until
talking about this game you're really excited about. This game's
I'll
stupid
leave.
and it sucks. And
Yeah,
like, fuck
what-
you
what-
guys.
I
I'm
didn't say
glad
any
you're
of
dealing
that.
with what I got to deal with.
I didn't say any of
Congratulations.
that.
I keep continue.
No, I'm good. I think it looks
No,
cool,
don't.
man. I think it looks great. No, like I said, it's gonna bore you guys, but I'm into the I want
Bore
to
us.
legit.
I'm
I
sure people are
legitimately
bored when I talk about the Ally and No More Heroes and shit. That's
I
okay.
legit want to talk to the science advisors on this game. Like, where is this coming from? They're like, you're gonna travel through space by folding time and space on top of itself. Like, sign me up for that, man. That's why I like
Wormholes?
Mass Effect. Yeah, like there's like science to the faster than light
Oh yeah,
travel.
no, yeah, they've
Yeah,
gone
that's
hard on
dope.
this game.
They know
The-
it up.
Kind of stuff.
Dev, if you haven't seen it, I'll just say as somebody who's again not excited about it, this looks like the most ambitious game I've ever seen.
Mhm.
It does.
This game is absolutely massive.
It just looks
incredible in
like-
that regard.
This is a rare thing for me to say, and maybe it's because it's so like centered in the space, and I love space and all that stuff. It looks like a galaxy that I just want to go be in, and I think that's a game for other people in other instances. You just want to, like, sound so cliche to say, but like, I just want to be in this world. But I kind of do. Like, I kind of just want to.
You want to go find and see all the things. That's how I am with
Mhm.
Zelda.
It looks
That's
like
how I
a
am with
game.
Destiny. I
Yeah.
want to
That you
be in
can-
that world. I get it. I get
Right.
that.
Right. Well, and I think like the almost the endlessness of campaign and side missions to it as well. Like, it seems like they've really nailed that. I can choose a variety of different characters and backgrounds to fill in that seem awesome. Like, my only regret is that the game looks so massive that I wouldn't be able to experience more of those backgrounds. Like, whatever path I choose, I'm sure it's going to be the only one that I've got. But I would actually want to be able to experience more of them, you know?
Can I ask you? I asked you this in chat, but I wanted to ask you this because I am interested and curious. We were chatting a couple weeks ago, and you told me that Zelda was just too much to like wrap your arms around.
Yep.
It seems infinitely more than that. Is it just the space thing? Like, is it because it's space? You're like, but I'm okay with it. Like, it goes out the window.
Yeah, it's not the non-linearity of Zelda that's bugging me. It's funny because I knew you were going to ask me about it, and I think what it comes down to is in Zelda, like, all things are malleable. Like, I think that's really the thing that really, I don't know where to start. And with Starfield, it's like the spaceship is malleable. Like, you can swap out different components
I
and
got you.
change all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like, it's still kind of limited to that, but like, too much. It's too much. There's too many things and too many different combinations. Like, cooking was almost too much for me with Zelda.
Okay, I got
You
you.
know?
I understand.
Interesting, because I feel like Starfield would be way too much for me. It's just too much to do. It's too open.
But it's
I looked at
still
Starfield. I
mission
was like, who has
based.
time
Let-
for this?
I think
couldn't-
the thing is that, like,
Oh,
Starfield,
because
it's
you can
still.
you go off and then you just find stuff, which is exactly.
I
what
think a
feel like
hardcore
Breath of the
Starfield
Wild
player
is.
could get into Starfield and play it for the next 5 years.
I
Let
agree.
me add this caveat to that. I feel like Starfield's gonna be more like the Fallout game, where you can play 30 hours of the Fallout game and get to the ending, or you
Mhm.
can play 500 hours and still be like nowhere near the end of the game. I think that's how this game feels like it's gonna be. in terms of you also can kind of find your side quest in your characters, and it tells you what you need to do and where you need to go. Whereas in Tears of the Kingdom, which I'm playing a lot of, you have to go find that as well as kind of get the story behind it. Where
I feel
Fallout is going to tell you what you got to do.
I think with Zelda, like that complexity is ingrained in every inch of the game experience. Like you can't
Yes.
escape it. It's in the shrines. It's in when you're playing in the campaign missions.
I call it
and
the language. You have to learn a new language. You have to
and it's the
learn all
entire
of-
game. And
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
with Fallout, and I'm thinking that it's going to carry over into Starfield as well. Is that exists, but it's off to the side. And if you
Yes.
want to, what I saw from this 40-minute reveal was the combat looked pretty good. So if I want to do that, that looks fun, and I understand
fun.
that. Or I can take off into space with my customized ship, and I can do some dogfighting and take down some ships, or I could board them and take over, or whatever. And it's like in the land, sea, and air, it looked like it was fun gameplay on top of just gallivanting across this galaxy. Now, there is a huge risk that this game is too big, and I jump into it first day, play 12 hours straight, and go, I didn't put a dent in it, just like I did with Zelda, and become totally overwhelmed. Like everything, all my hype doesn't guarantee that I don't. I was hyped about Zelda as well, so I
Sure.
could end up in the exact same place.
I wasn't-
$400 collector's edition, which is what I spent on this in Canada. Doesn't
I didn't
prevent
ask
that.
because I wanted you to juxtaposition, like to. I wanted to
No,
ask. I was
I
trying
think
to
it's
see
an
if there was
obvious
a
comparison.
Well, I think there was I wanted to know if there was a key there somewhere, and I think
Yeah.
you explained. I wanted to know like what is it because I just watched the Starfield like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, this is overwhelming. I was overwhelmed from the trailer.
I don't think you're alone on
I was
that.
like, good lord, what
Yeah.
are they doing?
Yeah, I think it's like with Zelda, you can't. You need to fuse something to your sword and shield, and make sure you cook the right thing so you got the right buff, so that you can.
But you don't have to.
I mean, you kind of do. Like
You do.
You don't have to.
You kind of you
I
do.
think you.
You haven't had to yet, but you do.
Yeah,
have to.
you
do have to.
get
You do.
there. Yeah.
People find ways around that stuff.
So I'm excited to also just see like what else is there on that science front. Like what they had me geeking out when they said that there's this real-time lighting that happens that's based on the type of star in the system you're in and the atmospheric makeup.
Mhm.
Like
I'm watching that right now.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm down
No,
for
and
that,
it's
man. I'm down for that. Like what else? What like the gravity impacts your jetpack? I think that's
Yeah.
cool. I think that stuff is cool.
Yeah.
I need
No,
Disney
I do
to
too.
just make a show based on Starfield. Just give me one of those like Disney
It's called
Explorer
Interstellar.
shows.
Yeah.
No. I want like the
That's the other thing, like,
style.
Somebody else, I think it might have been Yarden talking about it too. Like, is there a black hole in this galaxy, and what does that
Guaranteed
do?
there
Is
is.
there some
Yeah.
sort of
Better
time
be one.
dilation thing? Like, I
It's
just feel
insane.
like the possibilities are endless on imagination. I don't necessarily need the gameplay possibilities to be endless and infinite. Like, that's too much. But on a what is it? What happens to this world when maybe one world is too close to a black hole or to a giant star, and their time is totally different? Like, what happens in those cases? I think that's why people like Skyrim and Fallout as well. You descend upon these settlements and villages and towns, and there's interesting politics and conversations and way of speaking and way of living. And if you're Ryan Turford, you'll ignite a nuclear bomb on
I
them.
was gonna say, can I build a Death Star and start blowing up planets?
I think you can. Yeah.
I think you can. I
Yeah.
think you can. And I'm excited. Like, Xbox doesn't really get these ever. Nintendo has it with Zelda. They had it with Breath of the Wild. They now have it with Tears of the Kingdom. I think that that's going to happen with Starfield. That people are going to be, look at my stupid ship. And lady on the trailer had all of her sandwiches. But what else is there? What are the weird things that people do in this?
We're filling
And
pocket watches. We're gonna just have a cargo hold full of pocket watches.
I'm down, man. I'm so down for this. I'm so excited.
I don't want any of my jokes to come off as not. I was very impressed. I think
Like
it's a
I
very
told you, Sean,
impressive
it's
game.
gonna be everything that
Oh,
you want it to be and more.
That's the other thing I would say. Thanks for mentioning that, Donnie. Like when I first saw it, I was like, this looks terrible. I thought the first thing that they showed, I said this on the Xbox Drive as well. The first thing that they showed was a laser breaking down a rock, and it looked
Yeah.
like No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
It's like,
you're right.
Yeah.
you can't
That's
have
it.
that be the first thing. That's not the first frame that you show of this game. And I think this game's had a big glow up as well. I think it looks way, way better.
I think what happened was when we first saw gameplay, especially with the two console makers in Xbox and PlayStation, especially with the haters that constantly like nitpick and ridicule and overanalyze every inch of everything against each other. I think what happened was Starfield technically isn't a shower, but then they showed you,
like a Bethesda
but then
game.
they showed you the gameplay, and then they're like, yeah, but you've never played anything like this, and that's where Breath of the Wild comes in. Zelda's a pretty game, but Zelda's not the best video game anybody's ever seen visually, frame rate technically. But Zelda's doing things you've never seen before, and that captures people's imagination, as you said, Sean. And I think Starfield finally gave that the shoe dropped. The other shoe dropped. You got to see the Bethesda part of Starfield.
Exactly.
It's not just a single player narrative adventure game into space. Oh no, it's much, much grander than that. And again, that's where that Skyrim moment came in. And like everybody's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's for me. I don't. At this point, I don't even know if I play it. Because it seems so far out of my common play, like the things that I'll probably try it at least. It's on Game Pass. Why not?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm not finding a whole lot to attach onto.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't feel like a video game. It feels like just some crazy
space sim.
And I just want to play.
Yeah, you just go live in space virtually for a few years. Yeah, kind of. But it could be revolutionary. It could be game of the year. It could be game of the generation. I mean, if it's the best game Xbox,
that's what I got from
years. I am not shocked at all if that's what this is.
Yeah. That's exactly what I took from it was 40 minutes of holy crap, like this could be in that conversation.
Yeah,
finally.
No, I believe it will be. I don't even think it could be. I think
it absolutely will be.
Yeah, it absolutely will be.
Yeah.
The scope of this game is too grand for it not to be.
Yeah. Oof, I'm stoked, man.
That's a huge deal. When's the last time Xbox had a game of the year contender?
So funny. I still don't even look at this as an Xbox game. It's just a Bethesda game. Like
that's an Xbox
it doesn't
game.
have Xbox DNA.
This is why you spend $7 billion. So you start to have some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they talked about. Anybody have anything else, Delvin?
I just think it looks amazing. I'm gonna be super interested to see when people get in their hands and see the different experiences everybody has with it. Because I'm quite sure it's gonna be a thing where Sean's gonna have a completely different experience than I'm gonna have with it, and everybody who plays it is gonna have just different experiences, different stories, and I think it's gonna be a really cool water cooler moment like we had with Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion, where everybody's playing Tears of the Kingdom at one time. I think I have high hope for this game. I went from not liking this game at all, not being anticipated at all. Once we saw that first, I was like, oh, it's not
same.
To like being super hyped for it. Like this looks really cool, interesting. This looks like something I want to play, and I'm just super interested to see where they go with it. It's kind of funny that it's coming out so soon. It's not.
It better work. It's got to work.
Yeah, there's that. It has.
They
to
said
work.
that every QA tester Xbox has been playing it for a year.
Yeah, just polishing at this point.
Yeah, they're trying their best to make sure it's as
I saw
as
a headline
ready
going
for prime
around
time as possible.
I saw a headline that said it's the fewest number of bugs in a Bethesda game, and it's like that's not the highest bar.
That's not saying much.
That's still more bugs than most games.
Yeah,
but how could it not be though? Like the expectation can't be that it's a perfect game. Like when you see a scope like this, we've never seen. I don't think it's crazy to say we've never seen a game like this before.
Well, and wasn't there something about like force powers at one point? Did they have magic?
And they alluded to that at the end of the trailer.
Like I think they showed 40 minutes, and I think there's still stuff that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so too.
So they are nailing the aesthetic both in the game and outside the game, as they did officially confirm the leaks that USB hard drive is real, those headphones are real, and that sweet controller is real.
I got one.
Get that controller like Sean did, you also unlocks an exclusive Starfield theme for your Xbox.
Oh, so excited.
It's also cool.
Mm-hmm.
That Starfield controller is best. I think it's the best custom controller I think I may have ever seen.
I think it's
definitely
right up
from
there
Xbox.
with Forza. Forza had a great one.
I think it's way better than the Forza controller.
You think it's better than the Forza one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's up there.
I mean, that's up there with any of the best of the Gears controllers. Like if I had a
Gears,
Pantheon,
yep.
it'd be the Gears controllers. Than
Gears
Starfield
5
controller.
from the One X.
I'm not. Look, everything I said about Starfield, and I even kind of still want the controller. Like, like the controller is just killer. They just nailed it. The controller just looks amazing.
So good.
So Sean, are you playing it on your Xbox or are you playing it on PC?
I'm probably gonna play it on my PC.
Yeah,
actually.
got to.
Yeah, like I'm looking at all those RPG stuff, and I think that's the one question I have, and I feel like somebody might have answered this for me.
They did confirm it's 30 frames on console. That was a thing. I forgot about that.
Yes, that's whatever. I'm wondering if I can play with my flight stick when I'm in space. Can I go from keyboard and mouse when I'm walking around? Can I go to a flight stick and go shoot things down? I feel like somebody told me that might be the case, but I don't know where they would have heard that. So still curious about that. But yeah, man. Oh, PC for sure. PC for sure. Well, maybe it's crossplay. Maybe I can go back and forth. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do both. Heck yeah.
Play anywhere.
Not crossplay, cross save.
Cross save. So that's what I mean. Yep. Cross save. Yep.
Again, I'll speed this up a little bit. So Sea of Thieves, Starfield, Payday 3, September 21st, Motorsport, October 10th, Persona 5 Tactica, November 17th.
I'm in.
Flight Sim is getting Dune content on November 3rd. Fallout 76 Atlantic City expansion is coming soon, apparently this fall. Don't Nod released a new game called Jusant that'll come out this fall. It's like a climbing sim. It's literally like a climbing adventure game. City Skylines 2 is out October 24th. And all of these games are coming in day one on Game Pass, alongside the games that we're already expecting to come to Game Pass: Lies of P, Party Animals, Exoprimal, Replace, Cocoon, and Flintlock. That's what you're getting from Game Pass for the rest of this year.
Game Pass?
Day one on Game Pass this year. It's a lot. There's a lot of people who are like, there's nothing coming to Game Pass. You just get Starfield Motorsport. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming to Game Pass.
I want to play literally every one of those games. Even Jusant. I think that game looks cool.
I'm going to play Jusant. Yeah, I'm going to play Jusant.
Sean,
I'm going to play Motorsport.
Starfield. Just be real. You're not playing.
I'm not going to play
Starfield.
Like, I'm just going to quit my job.
Yeah,
that's true.
You can be a
family,
Starfield player. Find a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's your Game Pass update for this year. But that didn't make up just the whole show. There was also Game Pass games announced and shown for next year, starting with a new action RPG called Dungeons of Hinterberg. I thought it might have been Hi-Fi Rush DLC at the first, but not. It's its own game. Flight Simulator 2024. It's a new flight sim game that's coming, and it's got firefighting and rescue missions and all kinds of new stuff like that.
Yep.
There's a Persona 3 remake was announced, coming in early 2024, day one on Game Pass. Still Wakes the Deep. That's the oil rig horror game.
Dude,
right?
Oil rigs were all over the place in these
That's
showcases.
True. Yeah.
Lots. Yeah. That game looked good.
Early 2024. I'm excited for that one. 33 Immortals for Thunder Lotus.
Sign me up.
Thunder Lotus. Yeah, I'm in on this one. Right?
Sign. Ooh, I was
Yeah,
expecting you to say that. Multiplayer.
But we were talking about this. I don't know if I have this wrong. It is multiplayer, but as I understand this is like single player multiplayer. Is that wrong? Like this isn't multiplayer like you're squatting up and you need your friends and you need to talk to each other and being like, I can just log on to this game whenever and I'm one of the 33 that's participating in this raid, right?
I that's what I understand.
Yeah. So like I was like, this is the multiplayer that I can get into because I can play this at my own pace, however I want and all that. I don't have to depend on others.
Kick you out of the group because you don't have the stuff you need. He's not paying attention. Kick him.
No, that might be true. But I'm in on this one. And then
Donnie, I pitched that to Ryan as like maybe almost like a Muso. The way that I started, like, did you see the extended showcase? The way they played it.
I didn't see the extended showcase. No.
So Phil Spencer, gamer, sat down with the developers, and they played it, and that was my first thought. Ryan said it was maybe more like a World of Warcraft, but I don't know enough.
That's what I originally thought. Was it something like that? But they talked about we wanted to bring. I did read an interview or an update or whatever. I read an article on it, and they did the article that I read shared. They're like, we wanted to bring the epic stakes and excitement from a MMO raid to players without all of the preparation and hours
Hell yeah.
and stuff. And I was like,
Sign me up.
fucking A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm in. Like, that's me. And that's
Yep.
kind of what I was explaining while we were streaming it, Delvin. And I think that's what I said, right? I was like, this is the type of,
Yes, that is.
this is how Donnie does multiplayer on my own terms, whenever I want, not, all that. The reason I don't do the multiplayer is for everything else. It's not because I don't want to play multiplayer games. It's for all of the prep and shared experience you have to give.
So, looking at this and understanding what raid is and mechanics and stuff, I'm wondering if it really has any of those type of features where you actually have to deal with all the mechanics of an actual raid and know when to interrupt or when to.
I would
do this or
imagine,
when to do
based
that.
on
And
how they explain it, that it's like a light version
Yeah.
of that.
There's some
so
coordination.
I'm wondering,
Yeah.
if you're gonna have to actually talk to people or coordinate, or
I don't think
because
so.
there's 33 of you. Because then, if that's the case, if it's just everybody running around the dungeon and kill stuff, that's not a raid.
I don't think it's going to be like, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be somewhere in between. I think what they'll probably have is objectives, highlights, like give ways to direct players without you needing to talk and coordinate.
That's why I
That's
thought
how
of
I
the
would expect
Muso
it.
comparison. There's
Yeah, I
definitely
think that's pretty good show.
points of interest around the map.
Yeah.
You got to go do the thing, flip the switch, kill the person.
And if you don't do it right, like you'll lose, and like
Yeah.
everybody be mad at you. But
I think it looks great. And sign
do
me up
too.
for weird numbers of multiplayer. 33 is still bizarre. I love it.
so again, just to recap: Dungeons of Hinterberg, Flight Sim. By the way, I'm not into Flight Sim, but in Reddit, people are like, I can't believe they're making a new Flight Sim and it not coming. They're mad they have to buy another version of Flight. They're like, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, what a crazy thing to be mad about. Just get Game Pass.
No, when they were running through that trailer and it's like, it's got these missions and these rescues and blah, blah. I'm like, this is big. Like it just kind of
Oh,
kept
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And then they said it was
And
the
it
next
looks
one. And
good,
like
too.
that makes a lot of sense. This
It
is
looked
what
like
I
it had
need
a
from
nice
Flight
glow up.
Simulator, by the way. Give me missions.
Yeah.
Give me things. I'm not finding the fun in just like taking off and landing like some people do. Like, give me missions. So I'm
So
in. I
Flight
want to check
Sim,
it out.
Persona 3, Still Wakes the Deep, 33 Immortals comes alongside Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Avowed, and a new game from Capcom, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess,
Yep.
which is Onimusha. I don't like what I saw, but that's basically what I thought I saw.
Mhm.
But it's a big deal that Xbox both had a showcase that was well represented from Japanese developers, and that those games are coming day one to Game Pass and not 3 years later to Game Pass.
Yep.
You can't say that. So I don't know how many I just read off between 2023 and 2024, but if you have a Game Pass subscription through the end of next year, you're getting like 30 games. That are all
And the
coming day
10
one to
ID
Game
at
Pass.
Xbox. I don't know if you're leaving that for later, but the 10 ID at Xbox games that they announced at the extended showcase.
I wrote those down and I don't see them. I wrote them
Well-
down earlier. I may have written them down on another notes. I did write them down. I forgot. It's Neon White.
Neon White is a big one. That's one
What's
of my
the other
favorites.
big one?
Sea of Stars is the other
Sea
one.
of Stars. That's right.
That's
yeah.
a big
Yeah.
one.
And we know there's going to be dozens more, but Game Pass
Mhm.
looks great.
Yep.
Like the lineup for Game Pass looks
Yes.
incredible. Xbox Studios Matt Booty says they think they've turned the corner on game releases. He hinted that there's more games to come, even for this year. And again, that their goal is to have 4 big games a year. So that was it in a nutshell from Xbox. I thought, again, one of their better showcases that they've had.
Very good.
It
It had to be.
I'm not over the moon. Again, I'm kind of reserving my hype until we just start getting really good games starting to release.
Hmm.
We've been hyped for showcases for a few years now, and
Yeah.
I think it was a great showcase.
In
If you-
however many days, they're not going to have Final Fantasy 16. So
If you needed that jolt in the arm to get excited about Xbox, I think they landed the plane. But at the same time, I still need, I need a little.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on that before we move on?
Back up the money truck, get Mortal Kombat into Game Pass, and I'm stoked.
That's a good
Pretty
one.
good.
It won't be day one, but at some point that would be good. And I think that's where I'll play Mortal
I think
Kombat.
that'll come.
Yeah.
Ubisoft was next on my list, and they opened with an Avatar trailer, which led to gameplay, which led into a show intro, which led into another Avatar
Another trailer.
So I called it
Get
Far
the hell
Avatar.
out of here!
I mean, it's Far Cry. It's Far Cry with Avatar. It's
Yep.
really what it is. And here's the thing. I'm never going to play this game because I have no interest in Far Cry. But just like Starfield, was really impressed by what they showed. As somebody who's
Yeah,
not into
no
Avatar, I was like,
interest
this
in
game looks
Avatar.
great.
Go ahead,
Like
I
it-
love Far Cry. No interest in
Yes.
Avatar.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I have no interest in Avatar. And I would, even a Far Cry game, I'm not going to play because if it's Avatar.
I don't
But it
put
looked
off
great. It
Avatar.
looked great. Like it looked like a really good video game.
This game speaks to an ongoing theme that I was hearing throughout the Ubisoft showcase. I'm continuing to hear is people going, maybe Ubisoft Plus, maybe that Ubisoft
Yeah.
Plus might be something to think about. That's been out and available for a long time, but like maybe that's the entry point into a game like the Avatar game, which I think is a totally cliched, not creative, boring movie that looks pretty good. I think the world might actually lend itself better to video games than the movie lends itself to a movie. So I'm very interested, and maybe I try Ubisoft Plus for a month. There's a 7-day trial that
Yeah, it's not
they've
bad.
got going on.
15
So
bucks.
little man,
Ryan Turfer got the Avatar Stupid Edition. I love it.
Ryan's getting all the
Love to see it,
stupid
man.
editions. Oh my
Love to see it.
gosh, yeah.
X Defiant launches later this summer. There's a beta later this month. They have a 1-year plan for 1 map per month with 4 new factions and a new weapon coming every month.
That's a good way to say that. I like that.
It's cool.
Prince of Persia got a great gameplay trailer.
Looks
The whole
amazing.
thing. Now we can geek out about Prince of Persia.
Yes.
Looks incredible. Looks absolutely incredible. They then came out with a guy who came out dressed up with some amazing glasses, his old jetpack suit to announce Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, is an anime series, a love letter to the 90s coming out this fall. It'll be a 6-episode Netflix series.
Perfect. It's perfect.
2 weeks ago, everybody's complaining that there was a trailer for a movie and a showcase. And I love this
They
trailer.
didn't like the movie.
I love this being in the showcase. I was like, this is great. So I thought that was a good point of difference in maybe knowing your audience a bit better. You know, maybe it wasn't that there was a trailer for a movie in a showcase.
Mhm.
Maybe because it wasn't the right trailer.
This might be the first time that's ever happened. That we've
Right?
seen many trailers before.
I said this while we were streaming it. I was like, you remember they did this a couple years ago where they had that TV show that came to Apple or whatever about a video game dev and Ubisoft put it in their trailer in their showcase and we were like, what are they doing? Why
Well, and then they
everybody
had the
doing
Assassin's
this?
Creed trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We've had many instances of somebody doing this, but why did this one work? This one worked
we're
because it was
children
game
and we
centered.
like
It was cool.
cartoon shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think we're going to stop seeing entertainment trailers in our showcases. That's going to keep
No.
happening. People
Yeah,
just have to
agreed.
get over it. Just like we're going to get reveal trailers, we're going to get logo trailers, we're going to get trailers about gameplay. Get over it.
Yep. I'm with you.
Um,
Preach.
The Division Resurgence, which is the Division mobile game, was shown off and it's getting a beta and all that. Skull and Bones had a live song performance. Announced that they're having a beta coming in August 25th to the 28th.
Just kill it, please.
We shit on
here.
Skull and Bones like we always do. But I don't want to hear anybody complaining about the song performance.
Yep.
Everybody
That
loved the
was
sea
cool.
shanties in Black
That was
Flag.
cool.
So, right, like this is what you wanted. We got Rabbids, Mario Kingdom Battle Rayman DLC coming. They showed the Crew Motorfest, which comes out September 14th.
Yeah.
This is their take on a Horizon like, which I think is interesting. I think it's good timing to do this not in a Horizon year ahead of Motorsport.
Makes sense.
I didn't think it particularly looked very good. And I don't mean like to say, I think it looked fine. It just didn't look on par at all with like what Turismo or Forza looks like, right? It didn't look that good.
Forza
I look-
Horizon. Remember the first times we were seeing that? Remember Jeff Grubb revealed, I think, almost on this show that game was coming, and then we saw it for the first time. Like, this is the arcadey version. It's not supposed
Yeah.
to look this good. Like, they
Yeah.
raised the bar so high.
They did raise the bar.
I'm not a huge fan of the Crew games. They've often been a very Forza Horizon like. It's always a festival of some sort, and you're driving around. Usually, it's around America. But there's something about it near the end that like started to catch my attention. But This is a weird genre for me because I already have a Forza Horizon.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
I'm good.
I was thinking of one. I'm optimistic about this one because I played the first Crew and I hated it. I just didn't think the driving controls were good at all.
I completely agree. Same with the
So
second
then I
one.
played the second one and I was like, this is better.
Well,
Like,
the second
they're
one, I
getting
think
better.
the planes and the boats were fun.
So I'm wondering
Actually.
if the third one gets better. Like, is it an
Yeah.
improvement? And if it is, but I'm also wondering, we hear this often, and I used to be one of these people. We hear this often. People say like, oh, I just play Horizon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play Motorsport. And I'm wondering if Ubisoft is like kind of right in here.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if you just play Horizon, we've got one for you until the next one comes out.
I mean,
There might
Horizon
be
is the
something
one
there.
game that Xbox has that has got that games as service thing down. There's
Yeah,
always
I know it.
something to be excited about. There's always something that they're adding. So yeah, it's difficult for them to find a lull, you know. What
Yep.
was the we just got the second DLC, so I think that's
Expansion.
it. Yeah, the rally thing for Forza. So I think that's it.
I want to
So
try
this-
it. I want to
yeah.
play it. Assassin's Creed VR Nexus is coming. We knew about that, but they showed it again. Then they showed Assassin's Creed Jade, which is their mobile game, which I actually think looks really good for a mobile game. Like, it
Mhm.
really does look like Assassin's Creed on your phone. Then we got the Mirage trailer and gameplay demonstration, and Assassin's Creed Mirage looks great.
Sign
Right.
me the fuck up.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean, like,
fucking
there's a
go.
whole lot more that needs to be
Mhm.
said here. I mean, it looks really,
The
really good.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed game I've been waiting
Right,
for.
yeah,
since
it's back to
fucking Black
basics.
Flag.
Yep, you even got the old school filter if you want to turn it on, the blue light.
Not turn that
It's
shit on.
amazing.
No.
That's hilarious.
Um,
When does it come out? October?
Oh,
Is that right?
October
Is that
12th.
that's in
I think it's
Spider-Man?
October 12th.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's right up
and
Spider-Man.
Alan Wake. They
And
all come out like the same
yeah,
week.
October is
That's not
nuts.
a problem. That's not
I'm
a
going to be
problem.
playing Mirage. Yeah, I'll play Mirage and then get to the other things. Mirage is up first for me. And then they did a full gameplay trailer demo for Star Wars Outlaws, which is a game that they showed. They had the trailer during Summer Games Fest. I'm in. I don't even like
Looks
Star
fun.
Wars. I was like, this game looks fucking rad.
It's the Star Wars games for people who don't like Star Wars.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, we were watching the live trailer and I was like, I'm digging this. It made me remember like watching Rogue and why I liked watching Rogue
Yep,
and why I
totally.
generally enjoyed that. And it looked fun and it looked like a lot of games that I enjoy just in style and design. And it looked really good, just like
Mhm.
really good looking video game too. And it was like halfway through the trailer. Delvin and Haley are there. We made a couple Star Wars jokes, and I'm like, we keep going. They keep going. I'm like, am I being won over? I want to play this fucking video game. And then they took off into space, and I saw some of those dog. I was like, dude, I am in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the space game that I'm getting. This like this is it. I think it looks great. What do you guys think?
It does. Looks amazing.
This touched on every bit of that. What makes Star Wars fun? All the sneaking around, the hustling around, the speeders on the ground, and you get into a spaceship and you fly out in there. You're dogfighting all around there. I think it touches everything except for the thing that you guys don't like, which is force powers. It seems
You guys don't like? To me, this could easily just not even be a Star Wars game. It just
a
happens
lot
to
of
take
people
place
were
in the
saying
Star
like
Wars universe.
Uncharted. A lot of
Yeah,
Uncharted
That's
comparisons.
what I see. To
Yeah.
me, this is Star Wars.
Dev said it in the
Uncharted.
chat.
But
It-
the
it-
thing I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of times with Star Wars games you get like one part of Star Wars. You
Mhm.
get like Star Wars
Jedi.
Racer, you get Battlefront, which is a shooter, and maybe a little bit of dogfighting as
Sorry,
well.
Battlefront was not a Star Wars game. It's a Battlefield game with a Star Wars skin.
Well, there you go. So like that's kind of what I'm trying to say is it just seems to be as expansive as that universe allows, and you get to do all of the things.
Could this be a new thing for Ubi? Like if this nails and is a hit, could we get an Outlaws 2 and a 3 or?
I think there's no
so.
doubt.
I think that this is what people wanted from Star Wars for a while. People been complaining for a long time. Let's stop with the
Get
Jedi
away
games and
from
stuff
the
like
damn
that.
Skywalkers.
Dude,
Let's
what did I
just
say?
get away
We were
from the
live
universe.
streaming and I was like, why haven't we gotten this Star Wars game already?
Yeah.
Why has it
'Cause
been
we-
years since we've gotten
It's
something?
been
Why
years.
doesn't this exist?
Yes.
EA.
Ah. Yeah, why did
EA,
EA do
yeah.
this? Why did EA make this game?
Lucas Arts game? Like they
Well-
just It was
Well,
a
they were
mess.
trying. They tried to make the was it Boba Fett? They were trying to make a Boba Fett game or something like
They
that.
tried to make
a
the
while back.
Star Wars 1313,
1313.
like the seedy
Mhm.
underbelly dealing with bounty hunters and stuff like that, and just got canceled because they couldn't figure out how to actually run a game studio. Is what it boiled down to, which is now
Pretty
why
much.
they don't run a game studio. They're like, we're gonna just license out this everybody make games because EA y'all fucked up.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think this is the perfect Star Wars game for the time that it is now because people are excited for the stuff without Jedis, almost more than they're excited for the stuff with Jedis. So this is perfect. Like, people
Yeah.
love. What was the one that recently came out? That was based off Rogue One. Andor.
Andor was
People
my
love
Oh,
Andor.
show.
I
Andor
thought
is
you were talking
incredible.
about a game.
That
I
was
was like,
game.
oh,
Yeah,
Me
it's
too.
the
That's
same
my
here.
favorite
Yeah.
game we talking about. But like,
No,
Okay.
you
people
get
love
this,
and
make a Boba Fett game, not a Boba Fett game, make a Mando game because it's in the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
You have a lot more stuff you can do. This not dealing with Jedi. Then you can keep doing the Star Wars Jedi games, but use the entire universe. You can actually do more
Exactly.
than just Jedi because there's more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We don't have to see Darth Vader every game.
No,
It's
we
okay.
don't. No, we don't.
We like him, but you don't have to give us him the same guy every game. Just keep.
I
dragging him
wouldn't
out.
be at all surprised if we saw Darth Vader in this game.
We
Just
probably
because
are.
of the time place that it takes place in. It's between
Because these
episode
games
4 and
keep
5,
ha-
or
these
5 and
games
6.
keep happening around the same time period.
Mhm.
All these people, which is weird because none of these people interact with each other. Like
Mm-mm.
y'all don't know each other. All y'all doing the same shit, but y'all never see each other. That's a little weird.
That's how expansive the Star Wars universe is.
But they're all around the same people. Like how many?
No, they're not.
They keep running. Everybody keeps running into Darth Vader. How? Like,
Because it's the Empire. They're like, we're taking
Like-
over everything, and I'm going to send
so
Vader.
Darth
to fuck
Vader's just
everybody up.
everywhere. He's just on every corner. Oh,
When you can move at the speed of light, why not?
The same people keep running into the same damn people. This galaxy's so goddamn big, but they all seem to know each other. That's the problem. All of them.
I'm lost, but sure.
I don't know that they all know each other. It's just the Empire, trying to close its fist on the entire galaxy. And Vader's the guy who gets sent by Palpatine to do that. So none of these people are interacting with anybody else from Star Wars.
Interact with
It's just,
someone else.
Just the bad guy. Just
no
bad
more
guys.
Vader.
It's just
Stop
the
Vader for
Empire.
a little bit. See, you have so many other Star Wars villains you can use. Stop
Name
using
them.
Vader.
I hope it's
Name
successful. I
Thrawn.
plan on pre-ordering. I'm going to be there day
Doesn't
one.
exist in this time period.
I'm in on Outlaws.
Anyways, Outlaws looks
Anyone else.
like it'll be a really fun game.
It does.
Yes, it does.
All right, we're getting to quick hitters. The FTC is blocked. I would say reported. I'm not sure if this. I mean, the reports and leaks have been pretty spot on. So I mean, I guess you could probably say it's probably true.
I think
There's speculation going around that Microsoft was going to force close the deal. They're just going to close on Activision anyway, barring everything. They're like, we're just going to do it anyway. And the FTC has seeked an injunction, and they were awarded one, blocking Microsoft from being able to close the deal until regulators have had their say.
Which isn't that what they wanted? Like it actually, like the motion to force close it made the FTC do this thing, which I think puts them into court.
Allows
which
them
sounds
to-
like that's actually what Microsoft
It
wants.
allows
So
allows Xbox
40
to bring
chess,
their
man.
case.
Holy
Yeah.
cow! Yeah.
The non-essential PS5 games for this month are out. You get Far Cry 6, Inscription, Tacoma, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Some good games.
They got
This is good.
Xbox has
People
a
like
$30 to $50 million partnership with People Can Fly for an unannounced video game. People are speculating as to what that could be. Any guesses?
I don't know.
People can fly.
People Can Fly made Gears of War Judgment. They also did Outriders and things.
It's
So
not Judgment 2.
you would
is my guess.
expect. I think the easy money is that it could be some sort of Gears related project, maybe a new spin-off, maybe a remaster. I think that's the smart money. Xbox has a lot of IPs that they could resurrect. I don't know if People Can Fly can do it, but I mean, Killer Instinct, Banjo, things like that. So who knows? They're doing
People
something.
didn't like Judgment.
Oh, that's funny. I just keep thinking different genres and Gears.
Sure.
Like, I don't know why I think that,
that's, but I think that's the smart way of thinking. Yeah. I think that's probably the smart money. If you
Because
look at what
I
they
think
do,
they need
that's
something
what
in
they do.
between now and the next Gears is
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm one of the people who liked Outriders. I think that game was awesome.
Outriders was fun.
Yeah.
Outriders was dope.
PlayStation is testing out PS5 game streaming for their upper echelon of PlayStation Plus members from the cloud. So those premium tier folks can already stream with PS3 and PS4 games, and soon you'll be able to stream PS5 games, which makes me think. I think this is probably inevitable for the PlayStation Q device. As I said when they announced it, I think they're going to have some sort of cloud streaming option for it at some point. So I don't know. But that's it for the news. We've got our Gold Coin Presents. He gave us all the updates on all of our things. I'm not going to read them all, but just know that the new score, after everything has been tallied, is Delvin leads 14 to 13 to 13.
Wow.
So Grouchy asks, over under on Donnie keeping the ROG for 3 months.
Over.
Over.
Okay. And then that's it. Dev, you have the questions.
All right. Now that we've got all that out of the way, want to first off just say a very happy birthday to June Dubs. He just said he wanted a birthday shout out instead of a question. So happy birthday to you,
Happy
sir.
birthday, man. And hang on.
Happy birthday.
I know it's been a long show. I know we read a lot of things, we had a lot of talk. I know we're in like the final lap. We're all kind of heavy eyes and rubbing our eyes and stuff tired. I'm really excited that we all got to do this podcast. And I'm really excited we're capping off Summer Games Fest. It was a great week of video games. It was a great time to be a video gamer. This was a great show to talk about like all the things we talked about. We talked about Starfield and Xbox and Outlaws and like what a fucking time to be alive, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
I'm gonna listen back and then wish list all the things. That's the big thing I gotta do. I gotta make my lists.
I wish listed
Check it
50
twice.
games this week. so many indie games. So many indie games. Oh.
Gamer Christmas is back.
Yeah.
Better than ever. Maybe not better than ever, but it's back.
Pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Free to play Joe says, okay. So how did you enjoy the Summer Game Showcase? Is this a suitable replacement for E3? And can E3 make a comeback? I think it's safe to say we all enjoyed it.
I think it's suitable. I think the other thing, I don't remember where I said this, but like this didn't exist in E3 times, this Jeff Keighley thing. Like there wasn't a showcase for all the others. E3 was a collection of individual presentations, but I actually kind of like what Jeff Keighley has done here, kind of out of necessity and out of a gap with E3 just dying a pretty public and terrible death. But in its wake, it actually I think when people talk about this Summer Game Fest thing, like they think it's similar to, and I think it's actually quite different. And we have something new added to the mix here. And I would love to wake up tomorrow morning and learn that Nintendo actually does have a direct for us sometime at the, because I know that that's being rumored, because of course it is. Somebody's uncle told them. So yeah, I wanted to acknowledge that the Summer Game Fest thing it's an insertion. It's in addition to what we would typically get, and what we've returned to is all these things are happening within 4 or 5 days of each other in the middle of June. That's the E3 part, but we get this added thing.
Yeah, I don't need the ESA to be involved to enjoy the E3 spirit.
Right.
I'll piggyback off of what you said, and I will give some kudos. I've been highly critical of Jeff Keighley, and typically have never liked much of his stuff. And I thought the Summer Game Fest was a pretty enjoyable watch,
I agree.
all things considered. There's definitely criticism out there, and he got raked over for some of it. I think some of that's fair. But just the show itself, I thought was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was way better than his like Twitch streams he did last year, than some of the first versions of the Game Awards. Like his process is being refined, and I think it shows.
I think he has better games. I think a lot of it has like what games are ready now too. Maybe that's part of what people are excited about here is COVID is behind us.
We're not getting so many of the commercials, some of the slow interviews. Like again,
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
I think year over year, everybody is kind of refined into this adopted direct like format, and I think it's raised like that high tide has raised every boat.
Yeah,
like almost everybody's show is just better now than it was before.
Yeah,
Capcom notwithstanding.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Donnie. Next year, there are no men allowed, no white men for sure.
No,
everybody but everybody but yeah.
Anything
he got raked up with coals for that.
Oh, it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I think that I kind of feel like we don't need E3 no more. This is a suitable replacement, and based off the dire straits that we've seen the last few years of E3, like happening, like I don't think they need to try to bring it back. It's like they found their E3 replacement. Everybody is like, oh, we have our thing now. We don't need this anymore.
But wouldn't it be cool to have somewhere to go? I know you like this is probably the wrong group to ask this, but like it would be nice to have somewhere to go and hang out.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know, like a PAX of some sort. I know a lot of reporters and journalists, like they got to have the thing, and Xbox has its fan fest, but it'd still be nice to have a reason to descend upon LA. Like that's
It'd
the
be
one
nice to
thing.
be able to partake in something
Or wherever,
like that
maybe somewhere
without
else.
being a journalist.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You know, it is
I
like
would
a
think so.
very
Like a
insidery
Gamescom.
group of
Mhm.
thing, and I guess they like to hold that because that's to the past, like the tradition of like the old school E3. But I think gaming is so much more mainstream now and so much more popular than that now. I think obviously there's a huge money making opportunity that's being missed. But more
Yes.
importantly, I think there's a way bigger like multi-streaming, commentary, I don't know, internet participation aspect that's being missed.
Just wait till
And to be
Gamescom.
fair,
They've already figured it out.
They still can do something like that in upcoming years. They could probably like have rent out an arena and stuff like that, and they just show on video screens and something like that, and have like demo booths and stuff like that. They can make something up for fans to go to. It's just going to take time.
Well, I mean, you could have gone to Summer Games Fest. You could have gone.
Right. Just add a in-person 3-day thing to that. I think that would be a natural evolution of
Yeah.
this.
Have some sort
definitely.
of show floor.
For sure.
I'll say out of all the things that are going on outside of what Jeff Keighley's doing, I really dig that we have these collectives of indie games.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times with the shows that we had at E3, like maybe before 2018 and like that last gen, maybe 2010 to 2015, we had a lot of shows that would bring indies in. And I like that because it was getting eyes on. But I also know a lot of people didn't like that because they were showing a bunch of games that people weren't interested in. They wanted to see their brands and stuff like that. I was always fearful that like the indies needed the space, and I'm not. Like we have 8 indie showcases showing all kinds of games and VR games and PC games and games you never heard of. And if you're into that, like I am, I watched. And if you're not, you didn't have to. And you didn't, like you don't even know they existed. And I think that's really cool. I like that those are out there, and I'm following all the trailers and again making my list and wish listing. So I feel good that at least that indie space is getting some publicity that I thought E3 was really important for. And I thought it was going to be something that we'd miss without it. And it doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Yep, indeed. So Drew wants to know, what is your favorite show this year and your favorite 3 games announced? Start with you, Sean. You're the guest.
Oh, I mean, Xbox probably going to be the favorite, but because of course it is. I'm almost tempted to say Ubisoft just to not say Xbox. 3 favorite games, I mean, Starfield. I have to say it. I want to almost skip over it just so I'm not so cliche about it.
Cliche, man. You got the damn watch. Like, just be excited.
I am.
Enjoy what you enjoy.
That's why you're here, man.
But it's like there must
Starfield
be something
Capri.
else. I know, but
No,
it's like
but
it's sort of like the.
It doesn't have to be. You
Doesn't have
like
to be.
what you like.
Okay, so like Starfield, and Starfield, man. No,
There you
Nice,
go.
love it.
Yeah, it's
no,
beautiful.
I have others. I'm sure. Star Wars Outlaws definitely looked great. And I'll go Fable. Shout out to Fable.
Nice. What about you, Delvin? Favorite show, top 3?
Xbox, Fable, Starfield, and Like a Dragon, a Man with No Name.
Nice. He erased his name.
Yeah.
The man who erased his name.
Donnie?
I want to pick Ubisoft, like just as the show. I really enjoyed what Ubisoft did. I think their showing
it
was
was good.
good. I like their Just Dance segment. It's a lot of nostalgia for me, just like feeling like they put on like a show, like for the people that were there, not just like a collection of trailers, like they had a whole show. And I think the games that I think they nailed a showcase as best as Ubisoft can. Right?
Agreed.
Prince of Persia and Creed and Outlaws. I mean, I think they really did it.
Yeah.
Favorite games: Fable, Cookie Cutter,
Nice.
and I'll say Phantom Liberty.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm so stoked for Cyberpunk.
Yeah. That
I'm
that,
so
that
stoked.
has me. I will be probably picking that up on PC. I have it on
I have
Xbox.
half a mind to
but I think I'm gonna
replay the
play it on
game. I
PC.
installed it. Like
Yeah.
I have half a mind just to replay the game.
Oh, so good.
Nice. I can't say that I had a favorite show because I have not watched all of them in their entirety. I have mainly just watched trailers of the games from the shows. Favorite games has been Prince of Persia, Cookie Cutter, and Mirage.
Nice. Oh, so good.
All right. Kyle the Pug, shifting gears completely,
Love it.
says, who are your top 3 NBA players of the 90s?
So I've got to ask some particulars here. Are we accepting anybody that played in the 90s as eligible, or are we talking about somebody that made their hay in the 90s?
Anybody who played from the years of 1990 through
Okay, hang on. Let me
1999.
rephrase the question. Are we accepting their accomplishments after the 90s as a part of the rubric?
Yes.
I would
So
say
I
that it
wouldn't.
has to be in
I
the
think you have your accomplishments in the 90s. So
in the 90s.
for me, and I think the reason I asked this because I don't think Telvin's gonna like this. For me, I would omit Kobe and Shaq because I think they made their hay in the early aughts.
That's when they won their
Kobe,
chips,
yes, I would
but
say the same about Shaq.
I wouldn't say.
Okay,
I still
that's
say
fair.
Shaq did
That's
a
fair.
lot in the 90s.
He did,
even say Kobe
but he
did
didn't
too.
have rings and MVPs in the 90s, right?
I don't think you have to have rings
He
in
changed the
those
rules
years.
in the 90s.
Yes.
I don't think you have to have rings.
Look,
in
if
the
you want
90s.
to
I
say
think you just
Shaq, I'm
have
not
to-
telling you not to say Shaq. I'm just telling you how I was going about thinking about it. That's all.
Yeah, that's a solid assessment though. I'm not mad at that.
All right, so Sean.
John Stockton, Karl
I love it.
Malone, and Charles Barkley.
Those are 3 good picks.
Just to be
Those are
different.
Great picks.
Just
Who do you
to be
think
different.
is more deserving, Stockton or Malone? Malone's got all the stats, but I think everybody knows that's because he played with Stockton.
John's? I mean, yeah,
Right.
I don't know. It's so hard to separate them.
Chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah. I paid attention to the NBA in the 90s. That's about all I paid. That's the only time I paid attention to the NBA.
Best years.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, of course, Michael. He's number 1 all times. He's got to be number 1 in the 90s.
I skipped over
Can't-
the,
you
of
can't
course.
not.
I
My
agree.
second one is Hakeem.
It's a good pick.
Rings, MVPs, final MVPs, like hard not to.
So these are your top 3. Is your favorites?
My top 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Michael, Hakeem. And then I'm torn on the third one. Thought about Stockton, thought about Barkley. Feels remiss not to include Pippen. Like he's every bit as good. Like, he's very like Michael didn't do a whole lot until Pippen came around. And I
What
know
about
he's
Ewing?
often overlooked for that. I don't know.
Patrick Ewing.
He was great.
Robinson.
In the 90s.
It's good. I'm gonna go. I'll go. All right, I'll throw you an outfield one. Out of left field, I'll come in with Clyde.
Clyde to Glide. It's a good pick. Good pick. It's a solid one. Solid one. So for me, my top 3 players in the 90s, just to really piss Donnie off,
I knew
Penny.
this was
I
coming.
fucking loved him. Love Penny. Because for
There
me,
you go.
top, I'm not looking at stats and all of that. These are just my favorite players in the 90s.
Yeah,
I don't
but
really
that's
give a
not
fuck
top.
about the rest.
Vince
of them.
Carter?
That's my
I
top.
didn't ask
That's
you
my
your
top.
favorite. He didn't ask your favorite.
That's my top. It's my
Okay.
top. You know how I do. I don't give a fuck about the rules. I make up my own rules. I do what I want. All right.
I'll just pick 3 Cavs then.
You could. You absolutely could. I mean, the
Brad
Cavs suck,
Daughtry.
but you could.
Right, it'd be a
Sean
terrible list. Mark Price, tractor
So
trailer.
yeah, I'm going with Penny, Jason Kidd, and Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Oh. You know what? I'm gonna go a little different because I'm trying not to pick people you guys picked to give some more diversity to it. I'm gonna go Reggie Miller.
Mm.
Mookie
I'm gonna go
Blaylock.
Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp.
I
Yeah.
almost picked Kemp. I almost picked
Yeah,
Kemp.
I was saying that.
Kembe
joking.
Mutombo.
Muggsy Bogues.
Trying to think of another great one to go with.
Yes, Math Man. Yes.
Trying to think of another great.
Fat
There's so
Lever.
many great 90s players.
Hardaway.
Robinson.
Purvis Ellison.
No.
Sidney
Antonio
Moncrief.
McDyce. Kendall
I like
Gill.
Antonio Dice, but no.
Kendall Gill.
No.
Michael Finley.
Ben Baker.
You know what? I'm gonna go completely off the list. Just because when I think of 90s basketball, he comes to my mind all the time because of the shit he caused. John Starks.
Rodman.
John Starks.
Oh,
Starks.
Starks. I think you're going to go
Starks is a
Rodman.
good pick.
Yeah, I thought it was
Because
Starks
Starks-
is a good pick.
Every time you talked about the Bulls in that rivalry, John Starks was the guy who was
Yeah.
always talking to shit.
When I saw
You
this
would
question
always-
come in, the reason I went there with my brain is I was like, all right, I'm going to omit Magic and Bird because to me they're 80s. I'm going to omit Shaq and Kobe because to me
Yeah,
they're
I agree.
aughts. Like
That's what I did.
I
too.
was that. Yeah, I was going through like the process of elimination. That's why I asked that.
But I always think of John. Like when I think of the Bulls and the Knicks, I think of John Starks and Jordan. That rivalry right there. When I think of the Bulls and the Pacers, I think of Reggie Miller. I'm trying to think of like great rivals for Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
Those
I
two
wouldn't.
Reggie
Yeah, I
Miller's a
wouldn't
good
include
pick.
Isaiah. Again, I think 80s, but he had a good run in the 90s,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Absolutely. Till he got
Good
hurt.
question.
Captain Awesome 915 says, I currently have a PS5 and a Switch. I love the portability and I don't mind sacrificing graphics.
I know
Is
this
it a
is going.
good entry
No.
point for
No.
someone to buy the Asus
Mm-mm.
Ally to
Nope.
get my Xbox games and other itch?
No,
No.
not from
Donnie's
it's
already went
Captain
into
Awesome.
Great detail about that.
Because I don't know you, but it's where you phrase the question. I currently have a
Mhm.
PS5 and a Switch. The answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
The answer is no. If you were like, I play on PC and I'm interested in portability, yes.
Mhm.
But like, no, I play Switch. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Get a
Sorry,
Steam
Brady.
Deck.
This is
Get a Steam Deck.
Steam Deck might be the much better option for you.
Yeah.
The Ally is not the system you're looking for. Not at all. Grouchy says, are we far enough away from any major PlayStation news that Dev will be recording again? Sir, I was here last week. I'm here again this week. I'll be here next week.
I wonder if the
Alright.
next time somebody asks us to split in the teams, if they assign Dev Nintendo or Xbox, because he always.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. All right. It's just, they still want to assign it to Delvin, which is even funnier because he runs the PlayStation show.
Right.
But
Yeah,
he's not the
that's pretty
PlayStation
fucked
guy,
up.
apparently.
But I think he will be because you've just been MIA at all the PlayStation shows.
Not
Life
showing up.
happens. Life happens. Matthew Dawson says, isn't it dope that Avatar 3 changed its release date
No.
because James Cameron knew they couldn't compete with Sonic the Hedgehog? Video game movies
Goddamn
win
right.
again.
Goddamn right. This
Yeah, I
is the
don't know
one
what
time
this
I have to
is,
cheer for
right?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
You changed
Fuck
Too many
the
that.
blue
name.
people. Too many blue people.
I mean, Sonic is blue too.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's
The
not
funny
enough.
thing
You can't
is,
You can't have to have many blue people all in the
gr-
same space.
the gift that he had was actually Shadow the Hedgehog. He's
Yeah,
black.
Shadow's the bad guy in the next Sonic movie.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
true.
Always bet on black.
Did we just turn
And our
Sonic
last-
into a racist thing too? Damn.
You sure did. You sure did. The
Okay,
black
no-
delegation.
Nobody listens to the
brass-
end anyways.
The devolution
Shadow
of
the
this
Hedgehog.
podcast.
Last question of the night comes from Delvin Jr. Always with the hard hitting questions, the philosophical, make you
Yes.
think about things. He says, why do you play the games you do? For me, I just love the art of gaming, whether it's art style, for the amount of possibilities that are capable with the gameplay choices I have. Those are why I play video games. So what is it about video games that makes you play the type of games that you play?
See, I live in a house with a bunch of annoying people. So I need some escapism, Delvin.
Damn.
Video games help me do that because my kids drive me crazy. I don't know if you know that.
Because my
Delvin.
kids, you.
You, your sister, and that goddamn parrot.
The fact that
Drive
you
me
still
insane.
have the parrot, I just
Yes,
get rid
parrot
of the
won't
parrot.
die. I can't. Bird apparently costs a lot of money, so I can't. But yeah, I play video games for fun. That's my whole enjoyment. Fun and relaxation. All that art stuff, I don't care. Just let me enjoy the game.
Sean,
Sean.
why do you play the particular games that you play?
It's funny this question came up here because I actually had a moment playing Diablo over the last week or so, and I realized, like, in some cases, and it may be more prevalent this year more than others, where like I'm searching for a feeling that is similar to when I played video games as a kid, where you can't believe what's happening on the screen. And it's a new experience, and the graphics look amazing, and they bring you back to like talking about it with your friends, and you want to learn more. Like there's a spark that happens when a game is really special that could be anything. It could be just the gameplay loop of Diablo, or it could be the narrative storytelling in something like The Last of Us that combines gameplay as well. But like when I was a kid, like those were it was almost every game. Like, and you can almost remember not knowing if a game was bad because you were so wrapped up into, I can't believe I get to play this. And I think that has been something I've been thinking about a lot in this year, because I haven't necessarily jumped at every single game day one. And I've been quite happy to do that, actually. So, yeah, I think when it comes down to it, when a game really clicks, it's like I think there's some sort of connection to playing something like that or having a similar feeling when I was 13, 14, 15 years old, for sure.
That's a great answer.
That's an old man just like trying to recapture his past, but I think that's a very real thing. I'm not just waxing poetic. Like I think that's a real thing. And when it misses, it's like it's not the game's fault. It's just didn't spark that connection to what I hypothesize that whatever games you played when you turn 13 or 14 are probably in your top 5 of all time. And there's something about those years.
Kind of right. Yeah, that's kind of very accurate.
Yeah, makes sense.
Think about like Mario
and it's
3
different.
And
yep, it's different for all of us.
Like that.
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Absolutely, that's a really good question. Yeah, for me,
Wind Waker pings in there, but several others are way outside of that.
I'm not, and I'm not, obviously, like Mario didn't come
notes.
out when I was 12, but the games that did come out when I was 12, like Half-Life and Unreal and some of those games, hell yeah.
You're not an old man. You're not an old man at all, sir.
I appreciate
very
that.
Young.
It's more, I actually don't believe that I'm an old man. It's just the whole like recapturing the past kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me right now, it's pure escapism. Like the games that I play, that I enjoy, that I really, really dig into are games that just take me away. I'm just going on an adventure, disappearing and getting lost in a world. Much like I did for when I was probably 12 or 13. Yep. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Like I just got lost in that world. I just wanted to exist there and play that in that world. Same with like Super Metroid. And now it's like a Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I just get lost in that world. Destiny. I don't play with people most of the time in that game. I'm just existing in that world and just escaping the reality. Like that is why I play the games that I play. I don't really want to talk to people when I play games, which was the same way like growing up. Like there wasn't LAN parties. You didn't play a lot of games with people. You played games and then you talked about the games at school. What did you do? Oh, I just played this. I saw that or whatnot. So being able to share these experiences versus, the LAN parties and playing with each other. So for me, it's just the escapism of going into a world, diving into a story and just existing in it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I play many of the games I play for different reasons, which I think is probably true. I mean, that's just true for everybody. It'd be hard to really consolidate that all into like one reason. I play video games to turn off my brain. And when I feel like that, when I need to like de-stress, I usually play something that I don't have to think too hard about. I play golf or college football or NBA 2K or just things that I just have so much muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, and I can just turn off my brain and I don't have to think about anything. I don't think about work or family or whatever's going on, and I'm just going to decompress. But I also play games to explore new worlds and to go to new adventures and to have a sense of exploration that, to Sean's point, my favorite video games when I was younger did give me. That's why I like Grand Theft Auto, and that's why I like Zelda, and that's why I like Fable and Skyrim. But what Sean was saying, I was thinking on while you were talking, and I think I do have an example to at least prove your theorem. It's not so much the game that I played, but I played games through a generation that generation was very different than the norm that we have today. I came up through a very edgy, like rebellious generation. There was like a spirit there that was felt through all of media, through metal and punk rock and media and kind of all that stuff. And I think I do attach and seek to that with video games. And I love video games that give me those nostalgic feelings or power trips or are edgy and like push boundaries and push narratives in things that were like that. We don't get as many of them anymore, but I definitely think when people see games like Toxic Commando or No More Heroes and they go, that's a Donnie game, I think that might be what they're thinking. Because I love No More Heroes and Lollipop Chainsaw and zombie games and fucking cut off their heads and kick people in the face. Let's blow shit up with a metal track on in the background because it's fucking fun and it's kind of not something you're supposed to do and it's not something everybody likes to do. And yeah, I grew up playing games like that and I miss the days of the Duke and shit like that. And I still do think I like those. And I think when I do see games that do that, I do think there's a little nostalgic pull. There's a gravitational pull that pulls me to them.
Nice.
Makes sense.
Very nice. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Johnny games. It's good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for episode 91 of the Play Some Video Games podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourselves listening. I hope you learned something. Maybe you just found a new game that you didn't even know existed, and you're going to go find your new favorite game for this year. Game
Play
of the
Cookie
year.
Cutter.
Who knows? Play Cookie Cutter.
Glad we could put Starfield on at least one more person's radar. Very underrepresented game. Deserves more attention.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. If you say so. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I promise. Well, I got nothing else. So
Grasshopper's delayed.
Like super delayed?
No, they think they're going to do it
Yeah.
here probably in about 10 minutes. But it was delayed from 12. That's why we never talked about it and never brought it up.
That's so weird.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
said, they literally delayed their own YouTube video. They're like, sorry, I guess whoever was supposed to press publish wasn't awake or whatever. I don't know. But
Oh, so it wasn't
They
even a
never
live
uploaded it.
thing. It was just like, we're going to just.
I think they have a video that they're just going to like upload and that we can all watch. I don't think it's live.
Oh, well, there you have it.
Yeah.
So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, play some video games.
Peace.